Still going to hit the wrong one.
I know you will.
It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Now on ESPN 620, 98.7 FM each.
All right, making Mike's hot. Huh?
Live at ArizonaSports.com. The guys are powered by the law offices of Lerner and Rowe. In a wreck and need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. And now on your ESPN station in Phoenix, ESPN 620, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
All right, Twin Peaks Tempe, that is our home today for the next 3 hours. Roc, Manuch, Jimmy B, Jax. We got Connor back at the ESPN 620 studios, and we have a full show today. Today's going to be we're going to lean pretty strong to the AFC Championship. We're going to go out to Buffalo. We're going to go out to Kansas City. We're obviously going to get into some Suns talk and Jimmy Butler, as that thing is just an absolute garbage fire, and we'll continue to get into that because that's going to lead us to a theme, part of our It's Your Call question of the day, and we'll just throw it at you now to get started. With all the issues that Jimmy Butler is displaying with the Heat, of course, has been suspended again for 2 games, would you still make the trade for him? And that, of course, being the Phoenix Suns. Yes or no? Those are your 2 choices. You can go to our Twitter page at Roc and Manuch. But we got one more week. Let me just do some work here, some business. One more week of our Twin Peaks Fantastic Tailgating Sweepstakes. It's sponsored by our friends Blue Moon and Coors Light. All you do is text Peaks to 59925. You can do it every day for your chance to win the grand prize, which, of course, you've heard it if you've been listening to us. The Traeger grill, the Blackstone griddle, the pizza oven, the cornhole set, the portable beer pong table, the projector and screen, the cooler, the gift card, the Cocoa 5, and much, much more. If you want to win, you got to play. Just text Peaks to 59925. Standard message and data rates apply. But the Phoenix Suns yesterday, they did win, and they took care of business as they won over Brooklyn at Barclays Center. They are now coming home. They'll play the Wizards, which is good because they're kind of hot right now. I mean, I don't know about hot, but they won 6 of their last 8. They're now a game over 500, so you can make a case that they are hot, and they will have the Wizards coming into town, which is the worst team in all of basketball. Now, let's hope that Beal can play and will play because I want to see how he's going to do against his former team.
Yeah, I think we looked at this team 7 out of the last 10, 6 out of the last 8. Hopefully they can carry that momentum, take care of business with the Wizards. And you got the Clippers and Golden State, who's really struggling at this time. The next 2 weeks, this Suns team, you look at 39 games ago, you would have to think they'd have to win at least 25 to 28, 29 games to try to get into the playoff spot or secure their spot in a play-in situation. So they're going to have to remain to the point of 70, 75% of their games to get to the playoff situation. Problem is there's 5 other teams, number one, trying to stay in the play-in or get in the play-in. And then there's 7 teams that are trying to get to the playoff play-in
So is that going to be our narrative every time we're on the air? Because 10 days ago we said, hey, it's all going to have to do with
play-in.
No, it's all going to have to do with this 5-game road trip on if they're going to be there or not. All right, the 5-game road trip's up. Where's this team?
They finished on the road trip at 3-2, about what I expected, which is fine. Last night they got lucky because 322 players that play for the Brooklyn Nets were out of that lineup last night. So they played against the 4 of us, pretty much.
Yeah.
But they did what they were supposed to do, win, and they won big, which was solid. So now you get an opportunity to beat up a awful Washington Wizards team. But then things change because you're going to play against the Clippers, who can play. You're not better than Oklahoma City. You're not better than Memphis. At the moment, you're not, when Luka Doncic comes back, you're not going to be better than Dallas, and you're not better than the Sacramento Kings right now, who are rolling as they beat the Warriors last night. This is a uphill climb for this team.
So what you're saying, Jim, they've got to win the usual suspects. They've got to beat the Golden States, the Minnesotas, the Portlands.
Yeah, they have to beat the Portlands,
In Minnesota, what a disappointment they are.
They have been.
Right now.
Well, they traded. They went and got Julius Randle, and they let Karl Anthony Towns go to New York.
But to your point about, tough to beat Memphis, tough to beat Houston, tough to beat this team, tough to beat that team.
Yep.
that Cavaliers game showed us how tough it is to beat right now top-tier teams in the NBA, which
They're
is kind of
so
like
good.
they're damn good.
And remember, they had 2 players out as well that were starters.
So you go, okay, you got to beat the usual suspects.
Right.
You have to play probably over your head, whether you get Jimmy Butler or not.
Right.
You have to play over your head and then some to beat these other teams at the top tier that are pretty much solidified, if you will, for the playoffs. You know what? At the beginning of the year, you went, they should cruise. They should beat those teams. You should be maybe 5th, 6th seed at the worst in the playoffs. And now here you are just trying to stay in the play-in or improve your position in the play-in.
It's amazing to me how the narrative has changed so much. Before the season began, and they were 9-2, 8-2 on that run, and then all of a sudden, guys started getting hurt. They went in the tank, and they haven't been able to climb out of that tank.
And I think you bring up the point there is the Suns have to stay healthy, all hands on deck. Hopefully, Bradley Beal can continue to be healthy. You help everybody can pretty much be in there. I mean, when you look at the top 2 scores with KD and Booker, and then when they get 16 points total out of the 3 other starters
against the Brooklyn Nets.
So you need to in order to stay where you're at or improve where you're at, you got to remain healthy. And also with Bradley Beal, he's a question mark every game. Every night.
Royce O'Neal was 1 of 9. And I mean, he picked a good night to have a horrible shooting night because you know that the Suns were going to beat that G League team anyway.
So the Suns are all in, at least according to every pundit out there in regards to the Jimmy Butler sweepstakes, which doesn't seem like it's really a sweepstakes because they're the only team that is actually making some noise. But all these antics, of course, what he did with, missing his flight and getting suspended and the antics he did before, a few weeks ago when he got suspended for 7 games. Why the hell does anybody want him on your team?
I agree, Rock. I mean,
come on, Matt Ishbia. I mean, you're going to hear from him in just a moment. But it's like, I'm sorry. There's no one worth that, especially when a guy who's 35 years old, he's at the end.
Yes.
He's like the TO of NBA.
Good,
you don't want him on your
example.
team, right?
Good
I mean,
example.
he drives me nuts. It's like, I don't want Butler at all. To the point where he gets to the point where if they do sign him, there's going to be people that are anti-Phoenix Suns because he's going to be such a, I hate using the C word, but a cancer to the organization.
Distraction.
In this city. Yeah, distraction. Let's use that instead of C word. But it's like it is getting to the point where every other day he's doing something. Okay, everybody says the pros and cons. The pros, he's a winner. All right, he's a winner. Did he ever win a win an NBA championship? No.
Yeah,
why is he a winner?
Well, because
winners play, winners don't bitch.
That is correct. The Heat got to the championship round, and he played lights out.
He did
in that series.
Pretty damn good.
He was great. However, and you reference this, he is now 35. He's looking for a big contract extension. If you're going to pull the trigger on this deal, no, I am not giving him that contract extension. He is nothing more than a rent-a-player, and that would be, I would feel comfortable if he came in as a rent-a-player, and that's it.
How many, you've already made the gamble on Durant at 35, right?
Yes.
Why do you want to make
Beal?
Beal. Why do you want to make that gamble again?
I'm with you.
I think Matt Ishbia came in guns a blast, and I think he might be a little stuck right now to put it out there. Durant, I got Bill. Booker's going to be here for a long time.
2 minutes.
I need one more piece to back up what I'm looking to do with this team. And is it Jimmy Butler to back that up? Or do you sell your soul to the devil, bring the guy in, and if he's not acting like he should and he's going to be a distraction to the team? I don't think he would, though. I think because he'll have guys, the stars around him to keep him in line and hold him accountable.
Do you think Matt Ishbia is doing this because he knows you really need to maybe retool this organization? And, you can lose a generation of fans.
Yes.
Like they did when they got rid of Steve Nash.
Yes.
And you went almost, 8-9 years, 2011, 2019, where the organization, people weren't talking Suns. They weren't making the page. They weren't making front page. Nobody was talking about them. And maybe he's trying to avoid something like that where, okay, if I don't try to win now, we're going to be in we're going to have some trouble.
I think
some major trouble.
I think you're on the right track, Roy. I think he wants to give it the good old college try one more time before he has to blow things up. Now he won't.
I know he's a mortgage guy,
Yeah,
but
I
do you
mean,
really want to mortgage the future?
That's a good point.
well, and the thing.
Maybe he's got the balls to do it. He's got the money to do it. So hey, as fans, did we have a problem with Jerry Colangelo buying the Diamondbacks championship?
Hell no.
So should we have a problem with Matt Ishbia trying to buy a championship for her?
No,
it's very similar.
It is very similar, but it's different. And the difference is you're going after a malcontent, where Colangelo didn't have that situation.
Well,
Mark
Grace.
Yeah.
Come on.
But it's not like it.
No, it's not to that level.
It's not to that level.
It's
correct.
like it's kind of like, okay, it's like the new girlfriend. They always feel like they can change you. Okay, can he come in and can Matt Ishbia and James Jones say, look, Jimmy, all this stuff, let's put it behind you. We need to be 110%. There's no guarantee he'll be here next year. To your point, Jimmy, he might be a rental player, but I think Matt Ishbia is going, okay, I've got to go all in. I promise these Suns fans that we're going to buy for a championship by bringing Bradley Beal. Hopefully Jimmy's that guy. Whether you like it or not, that he brings him in for the 1 year.
Coming up, you're going to hear from Matt Ishbia. You're going to hear from Durant, Booker, Coach Bud, around all the speculation of Jimmy Butler possibly coming to Phoenix. It's our Sounds of the Night. That's next. We're just getting started. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B right here on ESPN 620, 98.7 HD2, and we're streaming live on Arizona Sports and YouTube and Facebook. It's Roc and Manuch, Jimmy B.
24th and 25th in defensive rating in a 30-team league. So, and the team ahead of Phoenix defensively, which is kind of remarkable, the Chicago Bulls have a better defensive rating than the Phoenix Suns at 19 and 25, going through a rebuild on the fly situation. So I bring that up because the record and the numbers and the eye test would tell you that Phoenix is a long way from championship contention. But it seems like ownership and the front office have decided it doesn't matter. We're going to continue to be aggressive, and frankly, I'm fascinated to see how it works out because I don't think
making Mike's hot here.
Phoenix Suns. I think there will be at least a deal, probably a few deals, even potentially from Phoenix over the next 2 weeks.
That's Ryan McDonough, if you remember, the former general manager of the Phoenix Suns. That was him talking about the Suns coming up on the trade deadline on Sirius XM NBA radio. So, of course, you saw the big move earlier this week, Tuesday. The Suns in Utah swapped first-round picks 1 for 3, which the guy in Utah should be fired. How do you make that? How do you make that trade, Jimmy?
Because they have about 8 first-round picks still remaining.
It doesn't matter. It's
still
just
remaining.
Why would you give 1 for 3? Maybe a 1 and a couple twos.
No, that was what the asking price was, and so they went for it. You have to remember that the 2031 is unprotected. In other words, Utah is picking with that pick.
I get that.
Okay, where the 3 picks that the Suns got are all controlled by other teams.
Sure.
So for the next 7 years, the Suns don't have any control of what they do in the first round.
And they could be lower round first-round picks anyway. When you think about the teams involved, it's like a second-rounder, basically. High second or...
But if some of those teams kind of go through a rebuild, then all of a sudden it's...
Well, that's
like
what
here we are
for.
5 years from now, and Utah's going to get, Phoenix is going to get, a better pick. I just don't understand. If I'm sitting in Utah's seat, I would never make that.
Because that 2031 was the most important pick that the Suns could offer up. So they went for it. Because Rock, they have so many other first-round options as well.
I get it.
They felt that cachet, some credit.
Yeah.
To make that deal work.
So here's Matt Ishbia at the Suns presser saying, hey, fans shouldn't worry about the 2031 draft pick.
And like I said, if fans like to look in the future and say, hey, I really like that 2031 draft pick because maybe that 7th grader is going to be really good and we're going to draft him and one day he's going to be a player. Like, you ain't going to like the Phoenix Suns because we're going to say draft picks are to get great players. And we, by the way, narrative out there, and I know, Gerald, you got it right when I read what you wrote today. 5 of the next 8 years, we have a first-round draft pick. I know that's not like a cool thing to say out there because people like to, say their narratives. We have no draft picks, but we have 5 of the next 8 years, and we can trade 2 of them next month if we want. Right. So it's not like people say we have inflexibly. What would be a house on fire? We didn't have any players signed. We have our starting 5 signed for multiple years together. Do we have to make some adjustments because that starting 5 didn't win a championship? Of course we did. Of course we do. And we will. And you'll see it. And we're going to try to get some more other free agents signed and kind of build this back and then figure out how do we tweak, modify to win an NBA.
He seems content. He seems like he's got it all figured out.
He seems bound.
Maybe he does.
He seems bound, determined.
Yeah.
I heard a little.
I like that. A little confidence.
Yeah. It's like, hey, this is what we're going to do, folks, and how we're going to do it. And I feel happy. I'm confident. And nice to have first-round picks in order to either give them away or use them for bait for trading or whatever that might be. So he's like, hey, look, this is how we're going to do it. This is why I feel we're going to do it, and we'll go down the road with it.
You've heard a lot of pundits say for the Jimmy Butler trade to happen, they need some help. They need some other teams to get involved. Maybe not so much after that trade, but still, you need some more teams. The Milwaukee Bucks have been one that's been rumored to possibly want Beal. Here is NBA insider Chris Haynes saying the Bucks are not interested in Beal.
Contrary to popular belief, I was just informed that the Milwaukee Bucks have not inquired about Phoenix Suns star Bradley Beal. In fact, it was explained to me that a connection between the two is non-existent. So if Phoenix is able to acquire Jimmy Butler, it would not come via the Milwaukee Bucks taking on the star guard.
Hey, look, let me respond to that. He hit the nail on the head because that is really going to be problematic for the Suns.
You think that's the hiccup?
It
in
is.
The deal?
Because who wants him?
Nobody.
Who wants that contract?
Phoenix doesn't even want
and he still has the no trade clause.
And where's his value? When you see him go to the bench,
he's coming off the bench now.
Yeah, his value has dropped, his
Yeah, it's just a part of the game now. It's just, what's important. The locker room is sacred. Bus is sacred. Hotel, walk through, all that stuff is sacred. Stuff we don't talk about is brotherhood in here, but the noise is always be going on around us. As much as we can bunker down and focus on one another, we are in a group. So it's a business, though. We understand it's a business, and anything can happen in this business. We traded one of our brothers, Josh, to Charlotte, and that happened pretty quickly. So this is the name of the game. So we got focused in.
I'll tip my cap to the players because they understand it better than maybe the fans do, that it is a business. That's what it is. And so players are, okay, yeah, I get it. You guys are trying to do this and you're trying to do that. I understand it.
They talked to Nick Richards, was it yesterday, about, dude, were you aware of being traded? And he goes, well, in this business, you just never know. He said, it's that time of year.
Yes.
He says, we're all vulnerable. If you're not the superstar, whatever, myself, all the other guys, we don't really exhale until after the trade deadline is come and gone. So these guys kind of are like on eggshells for almost 3 to 4 weeks before this thing passes.
I'm sure he didn't mind getting out of Charlotte.
Oh,
my family lives in Charlotte. A lot of friends, brother-in-law. They couldn't tell me 2 guys on the team.
I know.
It's half filled, if that, the arena. Just all right, more on Durant. Here he is assessing the season so far for the Phoenix Suns.
How would you assess the season for you guys collectively as a unit?
We could be better. We could be better. I like that we went through some adversity and kind of made us closer as a team, kind of made us understand our identity more. But I just simply put, I think we could be better. And I feel like a lot of teams probably feel that way about themselves right now.
Yeah, I was reading a thing on Bleacher Report today. They were grading all the teams at the halfway point, the All-Star game. They gave the Suns an F. Most underachieving group of stars.
More than fair.
And Minnesota and this and that, the teams that are underachieving. And, like the Cavaliers got A+. Memphis got an A+ for their resurrection. Detroit got a B+. So it's interesting that they also said the Suns started off as the sixth most attempted threes at the beginning of the year. Right now, they're 25th for on average attempted threes. And wasn't that Budenholzer's mantra? Hoist at least 40 to 45 threes. I think they realized they don't have the shooters. So they've gone more to the mid-range, more to going down low and then kicking it out.
All right, 2 more. We got Booker. Here he is talking about the trade rumors surrounding the Suns.
I mean, nothing surprises you at this point. A lot of things that you hear end up never happening. Some things that you never hear end up happening. So, we just have to lock into what we do. We're all professionals in here that are getting paid. So, we're going to keep doing what we got to do and, focus on the present.
So focus on the present.
Be a pro. Play your game.
That's what Manuch's point yesterday was when Butler got suspended again. He says he's not being professional. He's not a pro.
Man. You're not happy. You're making $54 million
a year,
and you're not happy.
Exactly.
Okay, be a pro. Show up. At least if you're not happy, just act like he wasn't even the games he played. He wasn't even part of the huddle. He would go sit at the end of the bench.
Yep.
He'd be, pouting or whatever it was. I mean, please, keep him home until you trade him.
Our last sound, and this is Coach Bud. This team went 3-2 on this latest road trip. Here's his thoughts on how it went and what he learned.
I think we're growing. It was great to add Nick on this road trip. I think there was times when I thought the defense, getting stops and rebounding and then getting them playing off of that. Book's in a good rhythm, like we talked about, finding Kevin in some different spots. So we just got to keep everybody involved.
Just keep chopping wood. We got 39 more games to go. I will say this about Budenholzer. He does keep it pretty much even kill. He keeps it even kill. Doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. And for Suns fans, I think that you have to hear a little more fire out of him about, hey, we got to do this, this, and this. But you got a group of pros. They understand what they have and what they don't have.
1 minute.
And he's just going to have to deal with that.
The fan frustration level right now is off the charts because
you think so?
Yes. But when I'm at a refreshment stand, oh man, I went there and watched the Cavs game, I'm telling you, people were bitching like crazy.
I went to a place yesterday.
Okay.
Not going to say where, but they have multiple locations.
Okay.
And they didn't have the game on.
Wow.
I said to these two guys, I go, we're not a sports city. We're not a sports town. When a
Thursday.
bar in this city
Yes.
that has 30-plus locations that says they're a sports bar and it doesn't have the game on, they had golf on instead,
Wow.
and they had some college basketball on. And I didn't even want to say anything. I literally looked at both guys next to me, and I said, you know, hey, you guys know the Suns are playing right now? And they're like, oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. You know, and all the TVs, not one.
Not one channel.
They finally got it on like at halftime.
Wow.
That's just sad.
That is sad.
I mean, you
That's
would never
racist.
see that anywhere else.
No.
Hey, we want to remind you that we will be at the Weekapaw Casino Resort, the big game watch and win party. It's, of course, on February 9th. Doors open at 2. Kickoff is at 4:30. It's free to enter. No cover charge. No minimum drink order. $15,000 in prizes and games. We're doing the $100 props. We're doing the $25 squares. We're doing the progressive jackpot. We're giving away 4 big screen TVs, $4 Dos Equis and Heineken's. And wait till you hear the menu, too. We just got the menu. They're doing walk-in tacos. They're bringing in Nathan's. They're doing all kinds of really cool stuff. And I think if you look at all the menu items, everything, especially the apps and stuff like that, everything is so affordable, under $10, you know, and I just think this is huge. And they're doing pork ribs, old-fashioned cheeseburgers, patty melts. I don't remember in the 25 to 26 years we've been doing this that we've teamed up with somebody that's not trying to gouge you on prices when there's a big event. They want you just to come and enjoy it and say, hey, have you seen the new Weekapaw Casino and Resort, the old Fort McDowell? It's the new Fort McDowell. I went there last Saturday and just hung out just to see the vibe. Bar was absolutely packed. The sports book is gigantic. So make plans to join us starting next week. We're going to be giving away 4 VIP tables of 10 to join us with all kinds of goodies and stuff like that. You're going to get Diamondback tickets. It's going to be incredible. They have really stepped up, so we're excited. Hey, we're going to catch up with assistant head coach for Arizona State, Charlie Regal. But first, here's Jax with your first ESPN 620 local sports update for this Thursday.
B, courtesy of
Making Mike's Hot.
Group. Combine your home and auto for big savings today. Head to crestins.com. Now let's talk Arizona State football with Coach Charlie Ray.
Charlie Regal now joins us here on the Right Toyota guest line. So, Charlie, if you got about $20 million in NIL, does that give you a national championship? Is that how it works now? It's all about buying players. Is that kind of how it works?
I guess it's the old adage, you get what you pay for, huh?
That's great.
I told the boys the other day, I said when they break when the bracket comes out, next to your seed, they should also have in parentheses the dollar amount spent on your roster.
Yeah.
Because, some guys are paying $20 million and some guys are paying, a fraction of that. And that's, again, I think Coach Saban said it best early in the year. It's not about how much you spend. It's on, the quality of players that you get. But kudos to Coach Day and Ohio State. Those guys made a masterful run, had to go all the way through from the very beginning of the bracket, and they did an outstanding job on Monday night.
I saw in the Wall Street Journal today. Yeah, I read the Wall Street Journal.
Wow, Rock, you're reading.
Just look at the pictures like you guys do. According to this professor from Indiana, they said that if Ohio State was on the open market and was for sale, it would go for $1.96 billion. Wow. Texas $1.9 billion, then Michigan $1.6, and then they also listed Georgia, Notre Dame, LSU, Penn State, Tennessee, and Texas A&M, all topping the $1 billion mark. Would you have ever thought something like this would happen, Coach, when you were coaching there in Scottsdale, Chaparral, and you were aspiring to be a coach at the college level, that it was going to get to this point?
I mean, you saying that makes my head spin. Like, it's just, those numbers are astronomical. And I mean, it's just, I think we because of the saturation of social media and just everything, right? Like, those numbers don't even seem real, right? But, I've done some digging myself and some reading, as of late, the last probably month and a half. And I also do not just look at pictures. There's a lot of these private equity groups that are behind the scenes having conversations with these commissioners and presidents of universities about, coming in and potentially, maybe buying a percentage and funding these, if it was to potentially go to a new type of league or system where on basically the private market where these investors would come in and invest in these programs. And obviously, they're doing it to turn a profit. So, I mean, this is where it's going. I think that we're on a full scale march in that direction. There's no question about it.
And I can imagine, Charlie, on the other side, there's a lot of players out there, whether they give you a discount or aren't looking for that much, because they want the exposure of ASU. You guys are on the map. They want to come play there. They like Tempe. They know that it's a great program. They may not be that 5-star guy, but if you got a lot of 3 or 4 stars that want to be there and they give you a discount or just say, look, pay me what you have, I got to imagine you're seeing that as well, too.
Well, and I was just, we've been recruiting today, and I was with Kenny, very early this morning. He flew in from Houston, and we hit the ground here in Phoenix running early, and we had some good conversations. We had a lot of drive time on our hands to get to a couple different places, but he and I were talking about just that. One, just everywhere you go, the sheer excitement of people in the building that ASU, and I'm not just talking locally, I'm talking all across the country, people genuinely excited about us being in the building. And here locally, and I've been out of some other places in New Mexico and Texas, the same thing. And I just think, obviously, we all know what winning does for your program, but I think it's also, again, hometown discounts, not necessarily, but finding the right guys and paying the right price and hitting on the right guys. I think you can't put a premium on that as the right guys, in the right situation, obviously can get you something that we got this year.
Charlie Regal is our guest on the Right Toyota guest line. Charlie, the SEC and the Big Ten athletic directors are going to have a conference coming up next week. So apparently now the SEC wants to try to work something where they are guaranteed 4 teams in the 12-team playoff. As being in the Big 12, is it a thought process by anybody like your coaches or the AD at all that they are going to try to continue to try to eliminate everybody else?
I can't speak for those guys, right? For Graham or
2 more minutes.
Somebody else, but I can tell you, just generally speaking, this thing is it's mind numbing, right? And at the end of the day, everybody's trying to they want the guarantee to turn a profit. 4 teams, it's exposure for their league. It's a payday for their league. I mean, if I'm in their position, I'm probably trying to do the same thing. And I think this is where, it gets to why we need a commissioner for college football, in my opinion. If we're playing this playoff that is comprised of multiple conferences, somebody has to be in the middle of that to decipher what is going to be allowed and what's not. And right now we're just not. It's not apples to apples in any phase. You got teams playing 8 conference games.
Yep.
Other conference team, other leagues playing 9 conference games. So it's just, there's just so much discrepancy between leagues and rules, but yet we all want to come together and have a playoff. And I just think that there's, as this process gets worked out, we've got to get some more uniformity in this thing in order for it to continue to perform at a high level.
So, Charlie, as this process gets worked out, you look back on last year, and you go forward. What's going to be the mantra for 2025 leading into spring, all things considered?
Yeah, well, I think that the mantra is that, hey, you know what? Our guys, they created the mantra by doing what they did and coming back, right? Like in a time where these guys could have left, we had 2 guys, obviously the seniors aside, but 2 guys off of our 2 deep that left. Out of 44 guys, take away the handful of seniors that we had, we only had 2 guys that were in backup roles that wanted to go play somewhere else and have a potential to start that left. So I think that speaks volumes about our program and about our kids. And I think plain and simple, it's really about, hey, let's run it back. That's the mindset and that's the mentality. Now, we're not expecting to come back and do the very same things and expect the same results.
Clear to wrap whenever.
In the driver's seat, the hunted versus the hunter. But that is the mentality of these kids. It's a unique group, and they want to come back together and take another crack at this thing. And they really believe that we can have a similar success.
Charlie, we appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for the time. Let's, Manuch wants to get his wallet out and buy us all lunch or dinner.
Right.
So whenever you're ready, he's got all those quarterbacks. Brock Purdy's about to get paid.
Manuch got them big dollar bills coming. At least that's the way we're going to do it, boys. I appreciate you. Go Devils.
You got it, Charlie Regal. Yep, Manuch is going to make it rain here,
Yep,
too.
he is.
So looking forward to that.
I'll be dancing.
Yes, we will. I don't know if you want to see that. Thanks to Crest Insurance Group all season long for sponsoring Charlie Regal. Crest Insurance Group offers personal, business, specialty insurance solutions for clients across all markets. Check them out. Just go to crestins.com. We'll look back on this day. We got football 50, but it is a listener appreciation ticket giveaway Thursday, and we got Globetrotter tickets, lower level at Desert Diamond Arena in Glendale. We are going to give you a chance to win a pair next. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B right here from Twin Peaks Tempe.
JB Listener Appreciation Giveaway. Now let's give some tickets away. Be the sixth caller at 602-230-0620 and you win. That's 602-230-0620. That's 602-230-0620. Be the
One more
sixth
time.
caller at 602-230-0620 and you win. That's 602-230.
Gonna make Mike's hot here now.
And thank you for making ESPN 620's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B part of your day.
Yeah, we're our phone number, because it's been ESPN 620 has been all national for so many years. Now we got a local show here. We're gonna beat it up just like 977-1900 with Lerner Row. You're gonna know that number, 230-0620. They always say you got to say something 12 times, or so.
7 to 12 times.
No, it's 12 times, and then it's instilled in your head.
At least for me.
Yeah, me too.
For me, it was 7. It was 7 times. Get it in. We should do that with like the plays or do repetition. Do it 7 times the right way. You'll get it down.
So it's a new year, new global tour, new challenges, same Globetrotters you love. February 21st, Desert Diamond Arena in Glendale, which just gave you an opportunity to win some tickets. So you'll love the dunks, the alley-oops, the long shots, all the magic, the history, the laugh. There's nothing better than take your kids to the Globetrotters. I mean, it's outstanding. If you go to our old way, we have a new Facebook page because Manuch screwed up on the Facebook.
My bad.
We lost our Facebook page. And on that Facebook page, they had a picture of Manuch and I as Washington Generals, because we got to play for the team.
Red clots.
We were, on there, but Manuch effed up.
Yeah,
So,
I didn't realize that was a big part of that Facebook page.
Don't blame it
You're
on
the only
me.
one that posted on it.
Yeah, don't blame it
Now,
on me.
Jackson and I are like scrambling to get our stuff going here. So, anyway, football at 50. We'll get into that. I love the back pages. New York Post, Gang Glenn, as the Jets bring back former corner to the organization as the next head coach. Across the street, Newsday, they did the same thing. Gang Glenn, Jets hire Lions DC to coach a team he began his NFL career with. The Daily News just had touchdown. Jets get their man as XDB Glenn returns as head coach, and it's a picture of him, number 31 for the Jets, picked off, got a pick for a 6. So those are the New York papers there. What else do we have when it comes to football at 50? Of course, yesterday you heard the Bengals hiring Al Golden as their defensive coordinator. The former Notre Dame coordinator helped lead the Fighting Irish to the national championship against Ohio State. Speaking of that, this is how bad our liberal media is, or maybe not liberal media, but our media in general. Huge headline. Multiple headlines like this. Donald Trump is getting blamed for the national title game's TV ratings.
What?
Yes.
How's that? What was their reason behind that?
That's the headline.
Yes.
You go on and you read some of these stories, and come on. The ratings were down by about 3 million viewers from a year ago when Michigan won it all.
Right.
Okay. There was something going on
Monday.
the inauguration,
Yeah.
right? I mean, of course he had something to do with it.
Sure.
77 million people voted for him. It was the damn inauguration. I mean, I jumped back and forth all night when Notre Dame was down 21-7 at half and then down 31-7 halfway through the third quarter. Of course you're going to switch and you're going to see what the hell's going on in our world.
Just the coincidence of the inauguration
So,
of the national
It was
championship.
also
media-
a holiday, too, with Martin Luther King Day.
Yeah. So the media is like, come on. Oh, it's Donald Trump's fault.
Well, you can.
Yeah,
well,
it is.
well,
Yeah, but not directly, not as a headline like that.
I think that the headline was a little bit more sensational. Hey, the reason why it was down, the reason why the numbers were down is because they had the inauguration. Versus Donald Trump to blame for the numbers being down. Well, technically, yes, but the way they phrased it was like,
That's my point.
That's
That's why I'm
yeah,
bringing it
yeah.
up.
All right, let me follow up with that because
this'll be good.
I saw some other pundits who were crying the blues because the game was on Monday night and not a Saturday
It's
game.
always been a Monday
It's always
night.
That's
Monday
what
night.
I thought.
Here's
That's
what-
exactly what I
No,
thought.
here's the thing. It's later than normal.
Oh,
it was
yeah,
like
it is
a
that.
week to 2
Yes.
weeks. That's the difference.
That is correct.
That was
That
7:30 Eastern.
that is the case that I was going to make. Yes, it is the inauguration going on. It is the fact that it's Martin Luther King Day.
Right.
And then thirdly, it is because it's later than normal by 2
It was
weeks.
a perfect storm for all that. Yeah, Martin Luther
But
King.
at the end of the day, as
inauguration.
fans, we don't care.
No.
And when it came to the ticket prices, they were
Astronomical.
gigantic.
Yes.
I mean, people paid a lot of money to go to the game. I mean, there was I got to find my notes, but I mean, the numbers were just gigantic when it came to the cost of a ticket. $2,600 was the average purchase price, which was 36% more than Michigan, Washington at 1934.
So taking advantage of Ohio State, Notre Dame, two of the top blue bloods of all time. We
went into this game on Friday. I remember you and I talking about it, Manuch, and I said this is going to break every record, every single record when it comes to viewing. I didn't put 2 and 2 together.
Yes,
that the inauguration was going on, and he's going to 3 balls, and he's doing all this stuff. I mean, it was outstanding television to watch all the stuff, and then flip from the liberal station to the conservative station and watch them all bitch back and forth. I'll CNN and the liberals were freaking out.
I never saw any of it because I was watching the game.
Well, when it was 31-7,
I still was watching the game. I know you are.
I jumped over because you guys know I was sick that day, but I'm laying in bed. I'm like, all right, let me see. I mean, there's just something else going on in the world right now other than Ohio State.
Well, 21-7.5. A lot of people
31-7 midway through the third.
Exactly.
How do you not turn it off then?
I was just happy Notre Dame made a game of it.
Yes.
Got a couple of scores thanks to Greathouse, the fine receiver.
Yeah, big time.
And getting back into it and having a chance. Then he got the ball back to go down, score, and get the 2-point conversion, at least tie it up. That didn't happen. 3rd and 11 or 3rd and 10, get the pass to Jeremiah Smith down the right sideline. Game, set, match, kick the field goal, win by 11.
I know they came back, but it was a complete domination.
It really was. Yeah, it was. I mean, there was.
I hate to say it because I like Notre Dame, but I'm an Ohio State fan, so I was biased, but I thought they were going to make it a better game.
thought that first drive by Notre Dame was fantastic.
Yeah, me too. They're down 7-0. I'm like, oh no,
man, we got a game
this
here.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, but then the ease of Ohio State going down the field, right down the field, going, okay, no big deal, scoring right off that drive. But I was like, you guys, oh my gosh, Notre Dame's going to make a game out of it. 18-play drive. I mean, they were gassed. Riley's on the sideline. I'm like, okay, dude, get your second win.
That guy
get
had
your second win.
The best series of football ever.
That series hyped me up as a Notre Dame fan. I was going to say,
I thought of you,
the
Jax.
biggest thing and the reason why Notre Dame's defense was so confused is because Will Howard's legs.
Yes, exactly.
They didn't take that into factor. They took into factor the 2 running backs. They took into factor the wide receivers, and that Will Howard can make some good throws. But I mean, he had 18 carries, 60 yards plus. That kind of put a blender in their defense, and that was the reason why I was proud they came back and made it a game.
I was too.
But it could have easily been 52-7 if Notre Dame didn't push back.
And we went in and said 7 of the 10 championships were all blowouts. And I was like, all right, it's going to be 8 out of 11.
I'm like, on Tuesday, I'm going, damn, I'm here from Rock Tuesday. He's going to talk about the blowouts.
Dude, here's one thing. I have never, ever kind of pounded my chest after my team has won.
That's true. I mean,
I always take the high road. When my vote for the president to you guys, I didn't pound on the Trump one.
You've been on the down low.
Yeah, I was thankful you didn't text me Monday night.
Yeah, I wasn't going to do that to you. I mean, because here's the thing: it's like we're all fans, and
we want to.
I don't need to rub it in. I mean, I'm doing pretty good with the Eagles, and I'm having a good run with them, and if they beat Commanders, I'm going to be excited that they're going to be in the Super Bowl once again. But I'm not going to be, pounding my chest saying EAGLES, and just throwing it in your faces because your teams aren't in there.
When we throw our big party at Weekapaw Casino Resort, you're going to wear your Eagles shirt. You're not going to wear.
Well, you're not going to wear our shirts. So the last 2 weeks, I have worn my Nick Foles Super Bowl jersey.
Okay.
With my Nick Foles Super Bowl ring. With the same hat, the same underwear, I have my Eagles,
socks?
green shoes.
Yeah.
So I'm
Not that you're
superstitious, so I'll be wearing the same thing
stuff
this week against the Commanders. I don't know why. I mean, I bring the ring out. It's funny because it's a replica, right?
Yeah, right.
But it is so heavy.
The replicas.
Everybody thinks it's real. And everybody's at the bar going, "Oh my God, Rock! How much did that cost?" I'm like, "It's $100." You know? I mean, but it looks. I mean, it says Nick Foles on it. And, I'm sporting the jersey, and
that's great.
I would
are just so nice.
I would love to see Buffalo in Philadelphia. We'd have a lot of fun with that, Rock.
Yeah, I think a lot of us are tired of Kansas City. It's like it's just the same thing, and we're going to talk about this with
Steve Tasker and Mitch Holthus.
And Mitch Holthus, that Mahomes. Everybody's bitching about Mahomes getting all the calls. All right, Tom Brady was the same.
Oh, I got them all too. Hey, the tuck rule is right there at the top.
I didn't even know that was a rule.
I didn't either.
Oh, that was a fumble.
Hey, next hour, we're going to preview the AFC Championship. So we're going to go out to Kansas City. We're going to catch up with the voice of the Chiefs. We're going to go to Buffalo. We're going to catch up with the great Steve Tasker. You're also going to have a chance to win a Twin Peaks gift card, and we'll open the phones to vent about Jimmy Butler. That's all coming up next right here from Twin Peaks Tempe on ESPN 620.
ESPN 620, 98.7 FM HD2, and streaming live at ArizonaSports.com. The guys are powered by the law offices of Lerner and Rowe. In a record need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. And now on your ESPN station in Phoenix, ESPN 620, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
Yeah, I think when you look at the great rivalries of the NFL, it comes with this. It comes with playing at each other every year in the regular season. It comes with playing in the playoffs, and you have to combat. You have to look at your weaknesses and try to make those strengths, and then your strengths make them even better because you know that they're going to
make Mike's hot. About 5 seconds left.
It's a great football team. Like I said, great players, well coached, and we know it's going to take our best in order to find a way to get a win.
Well, here we are again. The 7th straight time we get to catch up with the voice of the Chiefs for yet another AFC Championship game. Mitch Holthus joins us, the voice of the Chiefs, the Kingdom on ESPN 620 Phoenix. Mitch, I mean, you can't even plan for vacations, can you, anymore? I mean, it's just every year you're busy through February.
Well, we snuck down there actually for like a day because that's all that's left, seemingly. And even the off seasons have been crazy. You know, the Chiefs, little known fact, have had the 2 shortest off seasons in NFL history the last 2 years. And then you throw in 2 years ago, we hosted the NFL draft here, and it's just like hair's on fire all the way through. And the fact that you other 2 dudes need to know just how awesome your life is every day that you got Manuch in there.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, Mitch.
let me No, Rock, hang on.
Okay.
Let me just give you the play-by-play call. October 1978, Lincoln, Nebraska. 3rd and 18 at his own 13. Much like Patrick Mahomes later, like 40 years later. Back to throw, it's Manucci. A deep post pattern to Eugene Goodlow for 87 yards and a touchdown. I think that ball went 70 yards in the air. And K-State scores an 87-yard TD on Nebraska. That's real.
Was the extra point good? You mean
it was good. The extra point is good, and that was a big deal because our extra point kicker could kick us.
That's right.
Manuch knows that. We were going for 2 all the time, and then we throw this in there before we move on to bigger things. Manuch, I saw Jimmy Miller the other night. It was at my son coaches high school basketball. I go to a game, and he's like, "Hey, what's up?" I go, "Jimmy Miller, you caught a touchdown pass from Dan Manucci in Nebraska." So. Yeah, heck yeah.
You know what? I appreciate that, Mitch. Every once in a while, I got to let these guys know I actually was an athlete at one particular time. And speaking of athletes, the athleticism of one Patrick Mahomes, you see it week in and week out. You know, to me, it just amazes me. What is the constant with him week in and week out? Is it just his resolve to win, this freak of nature as a quarterback? What is it in particular what you've seen the last several years?
Manuch, what we have is Tiger Woods wearing the red shirt on Sundays in his prime before all of the stuff happened to him. That's what we've got. And it's kind of all of the above, but he is incredibly competitive. And the fact that he can process information and prepare like no other. He is, it's like no human I've ever seen in his ability to prepare to play a game and then execute that plan. Now he's got Pro Football Hall of Fame head coach who's coaching in his 12th conference championship game. That's stupid. But you've got a quarterback in Pat that is 16-3. He has the highest quarterback passer rating in the history of the National Football League in the playoffs. He's got Kelsey 19 times for touchdowns. That's the greatest quarterback to pass catcher duo, including Montana Rice and anybody Brady threw to in NFL history. But it's his ability to be consistent. He prepares every week consistently. He's so competitive. I'll take you back. He has his own OTAs before we have OTAs. I mean, that's just the way the dude's wired. You guys, Rock was talking about a short off season. It's even shorter for Patrick. He's like, "Go have some fun, guys, but you're coming back to my OTAs at my place. We're going to do it in Texas in March, even before the official OTAs begin."
He's the voice of the Chiefs. Mitch Holthus joining us here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. All right, this is tongue-in-cheek, but when Manucci played at Kansas State, did he get all the calls like Patrick Mahomes does? I'm tongue-in-cheek on that one, Mitch. I'm just kidding.
From gals? Yeah, he got calls from gals.
Hey, it seems like the pundits,
NIL
Mitch.
before NIL.
Right, really, yeah. You know, Mitch, all the pundits are saying it. I mean, Tom Brady is the same thing. What are the fans? How are they reacting to, the fans, basically saying that Patrick gets calls?
It's a stupid narrative. I don't know what else to say. It's the dumbest narrative I've seen in this league in a long time. I could sit here and give you the stats of where that's not true.
Sure.
And in fact, it's just the opposite in many cases. And so, it's the whole Jordan rules thing. There's just a fatigue about Pat, I guess, and winning. And although if everybody would kind of just put down their phone and put out reckless information that's dumb, it's become actually a national narrative of people that I would respect that would research it better. Like, no, that's not the case. But I guess it's a clickbait thing, so they go with it. But honestly, it's he doesn't care. The team doesn't care. Big Red doesn't care. You just go with it. This is a team that has won now. They played the hardest schedule for 6 years. They've played a 17th game. That's what Brady didn't have to do other than his 21 season when he beat us in Super Bowl 55. You're getting one more game against an NFC division champion. So you got that thrown in. Pretty soon we're going to play an 18th game. Everybody's going to play overseas. And last year the narrative was he hadn't won a road game. He wins at Buffalo and at Baltimore in successive weeks and beats a awesome San Francisco team, and at the time defensively was being compared to the 85 Bears. So I don't know what, just back up and understand that this kid is one of the best athletes in our country's history. The second thing, you guys, is if the Chiefs win this game, this will be overall NFL history because no team in NFL Super Bowl history has won back-to-back and won this game to give even a chance to get a three-peat. No team's got to the Super Bowl. Only 3 made it this far. The 76 Steelers, the 1990 49ers, and the 94 Cowboys. That's it. And the Niners of 90, I think, went 15-1 and lost to the Giants 15-13 in this game. So if Mahomes pulls it off and wins the game, it's historic. It's Tiger Woods birdieing 18 to win the Masters. And a lot of people will vomit. And people that are kind of like understand and just, wow, what did we just see here? Will realize you're living a historic moment with a historic kid, young man.
All right, let me follow up then with what you just said. In your estimation, with everything that you just laid out, when did the Kansas City Chiefs become the New York Yankees as the most hated franchise now in the NFL?
End of last year, and I don't know why. It was just back-to-back. It's only the 9th back-to-back team. But, it's when and actually, I don't know why. Even in 22, a little bit. There was all the talk out of Cincinnati and Burrowhead and all that. Nobody said a word here until the game was over. That's what I said. You can doubt the Chiefs. You can dislike the Chiefs. You can disrespect the Chiefs. But you're going to have to deal with the Chiefs. You got Tiger coming up the fairway in the red shirt on a Sunday. And so, but it was really this offseason, I think, Jimmy, where people started to just like freak out and go to these weird, dumb narratives of like they get all the calls and the refs love them and the memes of the refs playing cards with Pat on the sideline. It's really somewhat perplexing and in some ways kind of embarrassing, I would say, for other teams. In fact, I'm D'Amico Ryans, who I respect a lot. He's the Houston Texans coach, and I love C.J. Stroud. I think he's a baller. For that team to come out and just go, man, it was the refs, it was us against the refs, that puts that Houston team behind going into 2025 because they got a chance to be really good. But you're not going to be really good if you're going into a game going, I think we're going to play the refs and all the Chiefs, and we don't have a chance. That's a bad approach to have to any sport. I don't care if you're the Diamondbacks or the Cardinals, the Sun Devils, or the Bear Down Wildcats. It's just a bad place to be. And so the rest of the league has just got to hey, figure this out and chill out. And if the Bills win, go get them. They're in the game for the first
about 2 minutes left.
For won it. But if the Chiefs win, they're going to do something that's never been done before in the history of the league. So maybe you want to jump into that narrative just a bit if you are so inclined.
But, Mitch, I think the bigger story is you're saying that Manuch had a lot of girls calling him in Manhattan. That's what I take away right now.
He was not only did he have Mahomes' arm, he was the best-looking dude on campus.
So in other words, he's like Will Chamberlain, only on the college campus. Is that what you said?
I didn't.
Yeah. Hey,
there's a monument.
Hey, oh, you're too kind. You're too kind.
Yeah, I don't know why. Why did they put the monument to Manuch in front of the Alpha
Hey, just real quick, one more
He's a
football.
legend, boys.
One more football question. I'm gonna lighten the mood here about
Hey,
all this.
Wait a minute. Manuch, can we beat this quarterback? Last year you're giving me a no, because you're a Bills guy. That's right.
Yeah. Well,
because last year he's given us the ration of crap because it's Brock Purdy, and he was the mentor to Brock Purdy. Guys, don't beat Brock Purdy. Well, he's a great dude. I respect him, but we're going to beat Brock Purdy, okay? So we're going to try to beat Josh and the Bills. But did you mentor him too in Wyoming?
I should have. They would have 2 Super Bowl wins right now. Hint for that. Hey, real quick, speaking of just the way that this Chiefs team was just been phenomenal. Why don't a lot of these pundits out there give Andy Reid the accolades that he continues to do it with different people? Guys are wide open. You got Mahomes, I know that. What is it about his magic or this game calling that just amazes you too, Mitch?
Okay, let's back up the truck on this one, because why would he not be on Mount Rushmore of NFL head coaches?
Yes.
Totally.
He's won 3 of them. He's been in this game 12 times out of 26 years. And Manuch is right. He's done it with all kinds of quarterbacks, all kinds of systems. He continues to evolve. He's got all kinds of disciples all over the game, and everybody laughs at him about cheeseburgers and stealing Mahomes' nuggets, right? Or Fumblerooski or whatever. Like, I think he wants it that way. That way he can continue to do these sneak attacks on everybody. But he is so comprehensive and so stand out. Here's where the rest of the league needs to figure this out. And I think the younger coaches are scared to do it because they want to keep the locker room, or the agents telling them, don't go to OTAs, man, go play golf or play disc golf, hang out and play video games. And he's like, no, we're going to attack in OTAs. Pat's already done his pre-OTAs with his receivers and RBs. Then they come into OTAs. They treat OTAs like training camp. Training camp, with the rules that are in place, he doesn't break any of those, but he maximizes the time. I see coaches cancel OTAs and practices in training camp, and then they go 0-2 to start the year. So his teams are so ready to play. They're so ready to take the flash points, because every year I could walk you through a flash point where the whole thing could have been taken off the track. And he's so good at handling those, but he's got this comprehensive approach which helps you take on those flash points. And then when it comes time to hit the crescendo and Tiger's walking down the fairway in the late 90s, there's the caddy walking right along with him, telling you, hey, do this and do that. Andy Reid is right there with if he wins this game, guys, it'll be his 28th postseason win. Belichick has 31. And he's stuck at North Carolina. You don't get NFL playoff wins at North Carolina. All right? Andy could buzz by him. He could buzz by Belichick in the most playoff wins in NFL history. And yet nobody talks about it. They want to talk about cheeseburgers. And I don't think he minds it, but he's brilliant. And the fact that you guys asked the question, plus 10 points, because nobody talks about this guy enough.
Mitch, as always, man, we love having you on. Thanks for having some fun with us. And good luck, man, because we know if you do go to the Super Bowl, you'll face my Eagles, and we'll have some fun in a week. So looking forward to it. So, Mitch, thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Mitch.
What was it? Did they get a bye? I don't know if the Commanders are. What's the bye? Your next guest, you two other jokers got to know. Manuch is like one of my top 5 like humans on the earth. Your next guest, because I saw it on Twitter/X, it's on that same list. Steve Tasker is a legend, born in Leota, Kansas. I actually helped him get recruited to Northwestern. He's one of my favorite human beings on the planet. Manuch, K-State didn't want him, so I called Northwestern. He goes up and leads the Big Ten in kickoff return. Steve Tasker is a legend.
What a nugget there. There you go. Thanks, Mitch. Have a good time. We appreciate you. That's Mitch Holthus joining us, Kansas City Chiefs play-by-play voice. You can follow him on Twitter, X, Mitch Holthus. Appreciate that. We were going to open the phones and get into Jimmy Butler, but I think we need to continue talking some NFL here, and then we'll catch up with Steve Tasker. It's Rock, it's Manuch, Jimmy B. We're out here at the Twin Peaks in Tempe, right here on ESPN 620.
And welcome to Lodge Mentality. The guys are live at Twin Peaks Tempe, located in the Tempe Marketplace. Twin Peaks, the ultimate sports lodge and home of the 29-degree beer, served in perfectly frosted 22-ounce mugs. Here's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620.
Appreciate the voice of the Chiefs for joining us. Mitch Holthus, he's been there forever. But we were going to open the phones, get into our answer call question about Jimmy Butler, but I think we really want to dive into some of the things that he said, specifically that Manuch was a ladies' man at K-State. And I really want you to expand on how you had to dodge and give the ladies the Heisman because you were just getting pummeled with phone calls.
Yeah, I was so busy with
and
football.
They were payphones back then.
Well, we actually had the rotary, phone,
the rotary phone,
the dial-up. No, he's just a little tongue-in-cheek. I was too focused.
Oh, I don't know about that.
On football because I was dating a young lady at the time, and pretty much I only had time just to date her, and that was it because I got football, I got school. Get her over to the hibachi hut on the weekend once in a while.
Wait. Talk about that a little bit.
Oh, the hibachi hut and the belly bomb. That was great.
Is that a place where you take your lady?
It's a kind of a place. It's a burger place, burger place.
Allegedly a burger place.
We didn't have many.
Shut up.
Many date places. Godfather's Pizza.
Manuch, all I can tell you is when I read Wilt Chamberlain's book, there was an addendum in the back. And your name was in there as being close to what Wilt had accomplished in his love life.
I only had time for one person. That's it. Everything else going on. He talks about your senior year, and when you come off a season when you're 1-10 your junior year.
Oh, you weren't getting any calls then?
No, I wouldn't get damn calls at all. But the thing about Mitch, and you look back at that era of football, and even sometimes we go, okay, hey, look. If we were playing today, what would our NIL number be?
Oh, sure.
So we still have those kind of conversations. But when you talk about the Big Eight in those days and the type of the Oklahomas, the Missouris, the Nebraskas, as he was talking about, your non-conference was Auburn, U of A, Air Force, Tulsa, those kind of things. If you had good games against any of those teams, then you were probably going to have a good look from pro scouts. I mean, that was kind of that era where we were like, I hate to say this, we were like everybody's homecoming team, Rock. We're like, hey, let's get K-State on for our homecoming. So if we did good going to Missouri or Arizona, whatever, you could shine at any particular time, especially when you're only down 14-7 on Nebraska.
Sure.
In Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yeah, you're feeling good.
You're feeling pretty good. You're moving the ball up and down the field. Hell, we go into Norman, Oklahoma, take on number one at the time, Boomer Sooners. We're going up and down the field, and I can hear Barry Schweitzer on the sideline.
Barry Switzer.
Yeah. Stop him. Do what you got to do, whatever. So it's just fun to have guys like Mitch Holthus in the stands appreciating what was going on in the field.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you're paying him. The fact that he even went to our, Twitter page and knows that we have Steve Tasker coming up in about 9 minutes. That's pretty cool.
And a lot of folks
he must say, well, if you think about it, I mean, Jimmy, if you're the voice of a team, you work like 1 day a week, right? There's really not much else you do. So you have a lot of time on your hands.
A lot of time.
Is that what it is?
A lot of free time.
Yeah, a lot of free time.
Yeah.
So, because he rattled off those stats. And,
oh, sure.
And I think he made a great case on the whole Patrick Mahomes getting the calls because it has gone national with that to a very high level. Even some guys that I respect, like he said, they're guys that he respects that are going down that narrative. And again, we can rewind the tape with Tom Brady and say the same thing.
Sure. Well, look, and that's why I asked him, when did they become the Yankees? The Yankees are the most hated baseball team in the United States.
I think they're more the Cowboys.
Yeah, they're probably down that road, middle.
Yeah, but the Cowboys
Midwest.
have sucked for the last 5 or 6 years. They make it to the playoffs in one game. They're out.
The Yankees, they went through a little spurt where they were really bad too.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people. What do you call it? He brought the Jordan rules.
The Jordan rules. Yeah,
he gets on the defensive side. He can hand check all he wants and gets away with it.
Yeah,
or he can
walk.
He can walk. He can do all those things. I don't know. I appreciate a dynasty. I really do. I appreciate that. Hopefully, I love to see the Bills beat them. I really would. But if the Chiefs win, you go, okay. Can they win a three-peat? It'd be the first time in the National Football League you see a three-peat. And you look at this team where they won. They what? 3 out of the last 4, 3 out of the last 5 Super Bowls.
Yes.
So again, here they would be 4 out of 6, but 3 in a row. It's so hard to win 1 in a row.
Just ask the Buffalo Bills. They went there 4 straight times and lost every one.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so hard to even win.
Case for the Vikings too.
Yes, they lost 4 Super
or Denver.
Bowls.
They would lost.
But they've won. They've won.
Well, they finally did. Yeah,
they finally did. They lost the first 3 or 4.
Yep.
But I mean, it's just so difficult. So I guess I appreciate. I think a lot of fans, football purists, whatever, can appreciate what it takes to get there. I mean, for Andy Reid to bring different kind of schemes and different systems every year, the common denominator is his quarterback, his tight end, offensive lines has some changes. He's had changes with different receivers. So it's the system and the 2 key guys that help that system along.
All right, Manuch. So answer me this question. Travis Kelce, in what many people believe, had a down year during the regular season. So what changed when you got into the playoffs and Kelce now is lights out?
A guy named Andy Reid, his head coach, developed some schemes for him. Guys, he's been wide open. I mean, he was the other day, he caught 7 passes out of the 16 completions.
That's right.
So I think that Andy Reid finds the weaknesses or finds the mismatches. Now, this week, it might be somebody different.
Okay.
Might be one of the wide receivers, or it's Travis. But Travis Kelce will always be the constant because he's that good.
Yep.
I think he was banged up a little bit early on in the season, too. But, hey, let's face it, this team's 15-2. There's probably 4 games easily that the Chiefs should have lost. Blocked field goal, missed field goal, Hail Mary play, whatever. But they just happen to win.
The other narrative that I find absolutely hilarious that is all over the World Wide Web, and if it's on the web, it's got to be true, is that the television networks just want to make sure that Taylor Swift is at the Super Bowl.
That's hilarious.
I'm like stunned when I see dopes buy into things like that.
I'm at the point now, the whole Taylor Swift, I'm done.
Yeah.
Meaning, it doesn't even phase me.
It doesn't register.
It doesn't register at all.
No.
It's like, oh, there she is.
Yeah.
And then she's with
Caitlin Clark.
Give me a friggin' break.
Hey, Rock, the networks go, all right, we got
they're all
basketball
trying.
fans.
They're all trying to get the different demos.
Sure.
And it's like the way I look at it is just stick to what you're good at, and that's providing us football, and just be good at football. And if it carries over into more pop culture than it does, it's a bonus.
The other thing
still
too is
making a lot of money
with Kansas City going to Buffalo winning that game was at mid-November, 30-21. What adjustments are made by the Chiefs?
Yep.
What can be enhanced by the Bills to win on the road?
So Mitch mentioned, Andy Reid is about to pass Bill Belichick when it comes to most postseason wins in the next year or two, or maybe a year, because I think he said Belichick's got 31 and he's at 27,
28.
Yep.
So if he wins 2 this year, then obviously next year he passes him. Bill Belichick did formally sign his contract.
Yep.
It's interesting. He's only going to get paid $1 million a year.
Yeah.
Plus incentives. $1
Yeah.
million.
The bonus is on top of everything, but those bonuses could get to 5, 6, 7 million, whatever that is.
Exactly.
The only good thing is it just stops speculation that he's going to go to the NFL.
Yeah.
So, hey, Steve Tasker is going to join us. Steve, of course, the great Buffalo Bill. He will join us next. We'll preview the Buffalo Bills next. I do want to mention congrats to our listener appreciation winners so far today, Mike Guy and Mark Kimball. We'll have another opportunity for you to win some tickets as well. You'll have an opportunity to challenge Coco at 2:45. And if you have an opportunity to tune in on our stream, 2:45 probably be a good time.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, if you're into that kind of stuff.
Jimmy, watch your eyes this time.
Yeah, dude, that was embarrassing.
Yeah, come on, Jimmy.
Seriously, you gave her the look up and down, and we got it on tape. You're an old man.
Yeah, I know.
She could be your great-great-granddaughter.
Pretty much.
So when she
That's
comes
why
on,
I did it.
When she comes on, you're about the same size as her too. When you come
And
on,
I'm a good fit.
Steve Tasker next.
I'm going to come back to just you guys here. No Steve yet.
It's a throwback Thursday, and the guys are live from one of the 5 Twin.
I haven't made your mics hot yet.
To Roc and Manuch.
Make them hot now.
Be on ESPN 620.
We're going to hopefully catch up with Steve Tasker. We'll ask him if the Bills Mafia are going to be all right, because the whole disrespect card is something they continue to throw out there, especially Josh Allen and some of his pressers. You know, they got a unique NFL fan base. I mean, the Bills Mafia, I give them credit. They travel like crazy. They're the first to be there if they need someone to shovel snow, which they will have to do with the new stadium coming up, because I guess they created a snow melting system. So they will not need to bring in all those fans to do the snow removal beginning in October there in Buffalo. So they got a canopy. So this new stadium called Highmark Stadium is going to open summer of 2026.
Yeah, it's about halfway done last time I looked at it.
That's what I saw.
It's right next to the old stadium.
Yeah, they built it in the parking lot.
So are they going to demolish the stadium?
That's the game plan.
Yeah, they'll demolish it and make it extra parking.
The only good thing about that, like when they destroyed the Vet in Philly and they put up the link right next to it,
right?
You know, you could buy a chair, you know, a seat. You know, you could buy parts of it. I think that's super cool, especially with a Bills fan base. I can see so many season ticket holders buying their seats.
I could
and
see
putting
that.
them in their basements there in Buffalo or wherever. That's a good conversation.
The other thing that came out too was this week in reference to Mark Andrews dropping the 2-point conversion. They raised, I want to say, over $60,000 to $70,000.
No, and now it's almost up to
$100,000 for his charity.
That's cool.
Yeah,
of type 1 diabetes.
Right.
And there was another story this morning I'm reading, and it was about a guy that wrote in and said, "Hey, look, I'm a Steelers fan. Steelers played in Buffalo about a year or two ago." He said, "Look, I can barely walk up the stairs." He said, "The Bills fans came down, helped me all the way up, and it was." He said the Steelers were getting hammered. So it was like at the beginning of the fourth quarter. They walked him to his car. And I will tell this guy's playing there. They are the nicest, the most raucous, nicest fans.
They're raucous.
They're fandom. They're good people. They're salt of the earth, hardworking people. Yeah, they appreciate that.
Unless maybe you're a Giants fan or a Patriots fan. I don't know anyone who can't stand the Bills.
It's true.
Maybe when they were getting to 4 Super Bowls in a row, but they couldn't win, so you felt bad. Well, but this whole narrative that they're disrespected is a bunch of crap.
I agree.
Well,
everybody picked them to be where they're at today.
Yes. They did.
Right? Everybody. I mean, for the most part, there were so many pundits, so many people like us saying, hey, the Bills should get to the AFC Championship game, and they're probably going to lose to Kansas City. I mean, that's what it is. Crazy that so many people out, even here in Arizona, no one's saying that, but it sounds like they're saying it now. Steve Tasker joins us now on the Right to a Guest line here on ESPN 620 Phoenix. Steve, Roc and Manuch, and Jimmy B, thanks for a few minutes. We always appreciate you making some time. We just had the voice of the Chiefs on, your buddy Mitch Holthus, and he said that.
Oh, yeah.
He said he tried to get you into Kansas State, couldn't do it, so you ended up at Northwestern. Is there any truth to that?
I'm sorry we missed out on you, Steve.
Oh. Yeah, that's true. Mitch put a good word in for me, but back in the day, I was. It was all good if they looked at my numbers and watched film. It was all good. It looked good, stuff. I was at Dodge City Community College, and I had some pretty good film and stuff. But then when the coaches laid eyes on me and I looked like a 12-year-old, kid, they said, "You know what? I don't know if you're cut out for Division I football." So it's just the way life is. You just go with what you got. And so when they laid eyes, I just didn't pass the eye test. So there you go.
Steve, you've done such a great job, and I think the underachiever you were to go to so many Pro Bowls and do the great job that you have. And I still feel, hopefully someday you're in the Hall of Fame. But looking at this team this year, and Roc was kind of alluding to the underachieving Bills, who have got a hell of a record, and kind of the fact that, they're kind of the underdog in each and every game, where I think a lot of us expected this team to be right here for this AFC Championship.
Well, at the beginning of the year, most of the people in the AFC East that cover the division thought they might finish second or third behind the Jets or the Dolphins. That both those teams felt like they held onto their core guys and maybe got a little better. Certainly the Jets felt they'd be better with a healthy Aaron Rodgers, and their defenses good, and so most people were picking the Bills third in the division at least. And so they kind of lived with that. And then right before the season starts, they had a poll that said Josh Allen was the most overrated player in the NFL, and as the season came on, and there's no doubt that when the Bills started this season, there were a lot of question marks because they had a ton of new faces on their roster and new faces that they were going to be depending on. The one thing they did have that was constant from the year before, from 2023 coming into this year, was their offensive line and Josh Allen and James Cook. They had some guys they really could depend on, and certainly those guys came through in a big way. This offense, I thought at the beginning of the year after I watched in training camp that they're going to be able to score a lot of points, and they did. They were number 2 in the league in scoring. They had a ton of contributions from a ton of different guys. Josh has changed his game completely to a pre-snap, gotcha kind of quarterback. He's hard to get off the field. He's impossible to sack, and his offensive line is that good, and he's that good. So he puts a lot of pressure on the defense, and that recipe is good to be number 2 in the league in scoring and averaging 30 points a game. So they, as the season progressed, and then when they got deep into it, and they beat the Chiefs in week 11, and then they beat the Lions in week 14 or 13 or something, and then they had a shootout with the Rams. All of a sudden, this offense really spread its wings, and people started noticing how good they could really be.
We're having a conversation with Steve Tasker on the Right Toyota guest line, my former broadcast TV partner on Arena League football.
So, are you serious?
Yeah.
Well, you never brought that up ever.
Well,
not even teasing Steve's coming on the show.
Why?
Can you vouch for that, Steve? That he was a play-by-play guy, because we can't find him anywhere.
Well, you'd have to dig deep, but yeah, it very deep. But yes, he was.
Because you could see him. Did he have a booster chair when he was doing the games?
No, here's what we used to do. We would sit on the back of a chair or back of the table, so Steve and I would look like we were the same size. Yeah, that's what we used to do. We had a great time, though. My question is this, and everybody uses the terminology, Steve, and you've been caught up in it as a former player, that this team has got your number. So that is my question. Are you concerned that Kansas City just has the Bills' number?
Even after you beat them in the regular season.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, they have beaten them 4 times, Josh Allen and Sean McDermott have beaten the Chiefs more than any other quarterback head coach combination in the league. They beat them on a regular basis. The problem is the last game of the year they don't beat them. They take it on the chin. I don't think there's going to be anybody on the Bills locker room that's going to flinch in this game. And I think instead of the Chiefs having their number, I think a more accurate way to say it is the Chiefs have just got an extra gear that you've got to match. Josh has shown the ability that he can match it. Time and time again in these playoff games, Pat and Josh have gone at it, and it's been others who have either stepped up and made a huge play to win the game or done something to take one of those quarterbacks off the table. That's what always happens in the Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes matchup. Those 2 guys are fantastic, and it comes from, the finger quotes, others to either make it or break it for them. These guys are going to show up big, and these teams follow those guys. There's not going to be anybody who flinches. Now, certainly it's a tough environment in Arrowhead, no question. You got to deal with it, but it's not going to get in anybody's head going in there to a hostile environment. I don't think there's a magic, barrier there that you got to break through. Even if it looks that way, I think every game's unique. Those games in 2020, 2021, 2022, 23.
This is the 41, but feel free to go long if you want.
Except the lessons they teach you. This is a group that's in and of itself, and the Chiefs are the same way. Pat and Travis Kelce and Andy Reid are there, but there's different coordinators on the sidelines and in the booths, a lot of different guys on the field. Each of these matchups, it's unique unto itself. except for those two guys that take snaps. And I think they're the be all end all of this game.
You know, Steve, you talked about how Coach Brady's done a great job with Josh Allen. I think it's very noticeable, at least to me and yourself, the want to call it a chip on his shoulder, a boulder on his shoulder, I'll be damned on his shoulder that Josh Allen seems to be as far as carrying this team in. And for me, it seems very noticeable. Is that the other factor or intangible that he's carrying this year?
I'll tell you this, it's been a weird year because in 2001,
Here's the 42.
22, Josh was wearing a perpetual Superman cape. And he was doing it with from the neck down. This year, it has all been almost all exclusively from the neck up. Now, there's been a handful of plays, like the 4th and 2 against Kansas City here in Buffalo, where he runs for 26 yards and bangs into the end zone. There's been a handful of plays like that. But his abilities at the line of scrimmage and pre-snap have set this team up for real success. Josh is doing it differently than he's ever done it before. Certainly, he is the guy that drives the train, no question about it. But they're doing it differently than they ever have before. 13 different guys have caught a touchdown pass. He's got a running back who was tied for the NFL lead with rushing touchdowns in James Cook. He's got 3 running backs he trusts in the run game and in the passing game. 2 tight ends he trusts in the passing game and the run game. He's got 5. He'll have 5.
43, probably break after this one.
And he's thrown touchdowns to all of them. It's just an all-in mentality where none of those skill players around Josh knows on any given Sunday which one of them's going to get 15 targets and 14 catches. You know, they don't know before the game goes in. But whatever their opponent wants to give them, the Bills are good enough to take and win with it. So that's what has made them so good. It's Josh has been doing it for the early part of his career from the neck down, and this year he's done it from the neck up, and it's made a lot of difference.
Steve, we always appreciate you making some time. Both Manuch and I are hoping for a Philly-Buffalo Super Bowl. So if that's the case, we hope that you'll make a few minutes for us next week or early in the week when you're getting ready for the game.
If the Bills are in it, you know we're all going to be busy up here. So you can count. I'll carve out some times. And by the way, Jimmy B had great call in the arena leagues. He was a gem.
There you go, Jimmy.
Thank
you,
my
nice
brother.
Plug from Steve Tasker.
Empire Sports Network.
You can follow him on Steve Tasker
Slice
89.
of heaven, baby.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it. Steve Tasker, the former great Buffalo Bill, joining us here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620. All right, we need a contestant to challenge one of the beautiful Twin Peaks girls here from the Tempe location. It's Coco, who has had some success. She has won before. Last week, our caller, Scott, won. But we'll take the 5th caller at 602-230-0620. That's 602-230-0620. You're playing for a Twin Peaks gift card. So get on board, and you will challenge her as 2 games, just 2. And that's Commanders and Eagles and Bills and Chiefs. It's that easy. Give us a shout, 602-230-0620. This is Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. All right, it's only going to be 2 picks. Jerry and Phoenix hang tight there. We're trying to track down Coco. She's doing her thing.
She's working.
Yeah, doing something. you know what that is, Jimmy?
No.
Okay.
No, it's not my vocabulary.
That's correct. And I think.
Keep moving, Rock. Just keep moving. You got it.
All right, she's busy. So, just give us. Why don't you give us Jerry's picks real quick? Give us Jerry's picks. Commanders at Chiefs. What's he going with?
So Jerry is going with the Eagles in that game.
Okay, and then how about Bills and Chiefs? And what's the score?
For the Bills and Chiefs, he's taking Buffalo to upset Kansas City, and that score is going to be 28-24.
Yes.
All right. So if she comes around, we'll do that. So we're gonna move on. We'll get her when we can if she can come by and just give us her picks, Jack. She can get the picks for her. But I asked last week to email me or tweet me at Sports Radio Rock. Oh, we got Coco. All right, Coco.
There's Coco.
Hi, Coco. All right, we're out here at Twin Peaks in Tempe. Coco is one of the bartenders here on where the outside bar is, and she now joins us here. We got to put her mic on so she can talk to us. How you doing, Coco?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good. We have 2 picks for you today. So Jerry in Phoenix already put his picks in.
Okay.
So this is all about you now. So, Washington Commanders against the Philadelphia Eagles. Who do you like?
I'm going to go Eagles.
That's a very smart.
See, that's
move
his
there.
team, Coco.
Yeah, that's where I'm from. And then the Bills at the Chiefs, and I need to score this one.
Oh, okay. I'm going to go Chiefs.
Nice.
We're going to say 27-13.
27.
That hurts. I used to play with the Bills.
He played for the Buffalo Bills.
Coco.
So
I'm sorry.
I got
I'm
news
sorry.
for you, Coco. I'm with you on that pick.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Yep.
Shocker, Jimmy. Real quick, you got a lot going on now, and we're getting into the season. Spring trainings will be here before you know it. Are you working days for spring training? Is this a place you want to come before you go over to Chicago Holcomb or go over to Tempe Diablo?
Yeah, no, they're all super close. So this is a good stop right in between them.
And then after?
Any time of the day. Yeah, any time of the day. We're open till midnight 1.
Are you typically days?
Yeah, typically it's about 2. So I do a couple morning, couple night
Okay.
in the bar. So
Perfect.
Yeah.
And happy hour is getting going here in 9 minutes.
Yep.
I know you got
3 to 6.
So you just got sat. So you took
Yep.
care of them. They're good
Yep.
to go.
Got their wings in. We're all good.
All right. Thank you so much, Coco.
Of course.
Appreciate it. That's
Thank you,
Coco
guys.
here at the Tempe Twin Peaks. She's won before, so poor Jerry, he may lose. So I was telling you last week, I do these really bad dad jokes, and my ask last week was, if you can send me some of your bad jokes, and I read them on the air, and you guys laugh, I got to give them a $25
Sure.
Twin Peaks
Yeah,
gift
I remember
card.
that. Yeah.
So people were tweeting me at Sports Radio Rock. That's ROC, not RCK, and I got a few.
Okay.
And they are absolutely horrendous.
Throw them out there, Rock.
Let's see if we like
So
them.
this one comes from Fred in Phoenix. Why didn't the coach let the pig play football? Why didn't the coach let the pig play football?
Because he's the pigskin?
No, because he was a ball hog.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
Hog. Yeah.
No, he's not getting anything.
No, not for that. I thought
All right.
pigskin was
Gary and Santan. Want to hear a joke about paper? Never mind. It's terrible.
All
right.
That's
So
not
let me
bad.
write that down. That's
not bad.
$25.
It's terrible.
All right.
You get that, Jimmy? Terrible.
Twin Peaks. All right.
no comment.
Tim and Gilbert. What does a Bulls fan do after they see their team win? What does a Bulls fan do after they see their team win?
Throw up?
No, they rewind the VHS tape.
Oh, I like that.
All right, damn, that's
I
I'm
like
up,
that
I'm
one.
up to 50.
That was
bucks. Let me
good.
Write that down.
Yeah.
All right, I got 2 more. This is so stupid.
Hey, if you
Well,
read-
this came from Melissa
Okay.
in Phoenix. And I've never dated Melissa, so I don't know who she is.
Well, Manuch
Why
probably did.
why do basketball players like cookies? Why do basketball players like cookies?
Man.
They like to dunk them?
Close.
Very good.
It's just another excuse to dunk.
Okay.
That's good. I like that one.
It's not laughable. though.
Yeah, it's okay. You know, it's not laughable.
All right, last one. Jacob and Cave Creek. Which days are the strongest? Saturday and Sunday, because the rest are weekdays.
Oh, okay. All right. That's
So,
good. Too laughable.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah, I
you
like
can tweet
that.
me at Sports Radio Rock. This is great because then I
3
don't have
minutes.
You don't have to do it.
Yes, so it's very easy.
I love the Chicago Bulls one, the VHS tape.
Makes a lot of sense. You had to think about that.
Yes, you did. Oh,
You know, they have been relevant
I
since
got a good one
Jordan.
for you guys.
Wait. You have one for us, Connor?
Yeah, fellas. I got a good one for you. A little backstory here. I'm not much of a dad joke guy, but my fiance here, when she first met me, this was her go-to move. She dropped the dad joke. Let me try it out for you, fellas. What's the cheapest food you can buy?
What's the cheapest food you can buy? I don't know. What is it?
It's deer nuts. It's all under $1.
Oh,
You're not
I
getting
didn't get the
no.
hint.
You're not getting a gift card.
No.
No.
No. In fact,
But
you may
obviously
only
your
work Monday,
fiance,
Wednesday, Friday.
At least it worked for your fiance and you.
Yeah.
So I mean,
It was worth a shot.
it's not going to get you a $25 Twin Peaks
good
gift card.
try. Good
Yes,
try, Connor.
very good. So once you work on that, we'll give you another try next week. All right, same time, same channel. We'll do that.
And don't forget to text Rock as well.
Or tweet.
Confer with your
tweet Rock.
Well, he knows my number. He can text me.
Yeah, confer with your fiance. She's got any more of those bad dad jokes, or dad jokes, I should say.
And you guys, if you want to play, you're more than welcome to. I mean,
I've got one.
especially you, Jimmy. I mean, you can just something.
I have-
provide to the show.
I have great grandfather
It would
jokes.
take Jimmy hours to prep
Yeah.
dad joke.
I've got a good dad joke for you. What did the mama tomato say to the baby tomato?
Squeeze me.
Catch up.
Okay.
Stick to just coaching quarterback.
Yeah, exactly.
Catch up.
Yeah.
Hey, catch up.
Yeah.
All
All right.
Pretty good. That's about the extent of my
about
dad.
as good as mine.
Yeah, that's about extent of my.
Yeah, I would say Connor CC's was better than yours. On that one. But so today, let's see how it goes. I'm going to try to hopefully get 5 a week.
Okay.
And
1 minute.
right now I'm down $50 with buying 2 gift cards. For
That's
Twin
pretty good.
Peaks.
That's all right.
Keep them coming.
Yeah.
They can make Jimmy and I smile, crack up a little bit.
Hey, I got the donut one.
It's good. I'm glad
That
you
was
did.
good,
Yeah.
Jimmy.
Hey, our next hour of the show from Twin Peaks in Tempe. We're going to look at the business side of sports with Rick Horrow. We'll catch up with Howard Balzer from USA Today, Cards Wire. So we'll talk to him. We'll also have our underdog picks for the weekend, and we'll recap how we did last week because a couple of us are making a little bit of a run here late. But we are out here at Twin Peaks in Tempe. Happy hour is getting ready to start here in 4 minutes. Hour number 3 is next here on ESPN 620.
It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Now on ESPN 620, 98.7 FM HD2, and streaming live at ArizonaSports.com. The guys are powered by the law offices of Lerner and Rowe. In a record need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. And now on your ESPN station in Phoenix, ESPN 620, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Time to talk about the business side of sports. Leading expert in the business of sports, author of the new bestseller, The Sport Business.
All right, making Mike's hot.
Sports and architect of over 100 deals worth billions in sports, the sports professor Rick Haro joins Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620.
How we doing today, Rick? What's going on, my friend?
You shoveling snow?
How much does that voice of God get for that promo?
Oh, he pays us.
I wish my voice was a little deeper. I mean, that guy's amazing. That guy will keep you up at night.
He's solid. The voice of ESPN radio here in Phoenix. I mean, he's nailing it for us. So
Yeah.
it's good stuff. And you have your own open.
By the way, you guys are like the giant pterodactyls. No, they didn't survive. You guys are like the caterpillar.
Thanks.
Maybe, is that right? Maybe
The Tyrannosaurus Rex.
You go through mastodons. You go through whatever it takes, and you come out on the back end. Although if I'm Jimmy V and I get with Jimmy V after a long pause, I'm not sure. But you know, he's like Tonto. He's your malleable sidekick.
That's exactly, and that's really all he does. Is just a sidekick. So it's really
that's all I am.
Yeah, but he drives when I'm not here, so we do give him the keys. So he does a great job.
Tonto, you okay, Tonto? How you doing, man?
You get a little, you're pretty sharp. Get a little too much fresh air, shoveling snow back there in Florida, or what?
You don't have snow in Miami.
Yeah, look, I'm on fumes. I got to tell you, 7.8 inches in Milton, Florida, and then Bagley. I mean, these are not only twice as much snow as you normally, twice as much snow as the Florida record.
Yeah.
And it's the coldest high ever reported in South Florida here.
Wow.
And the iguanas, they're falling off the trees, and as they freeze,
Yeah.
and then they just start waking up usually. But then they realize that the Dolphins have 10 draft picks in the first round or the second round because of compensation. And they're saying, "Oh my God, Chris Greer is still here making the draft picks," and they fall back.
Gee, that's
They
great.
go back in the coma.
So
what can I do?
What
can I do?
Is the city going absolutely nuts? Because a lot of people, that's why they live in Florida. They want to get away from that.
Well, it's sustained. So this has been this way since like Saturday, and it's supposed to be this way until next Monday.
Wow.
I'm going to go examine professional sports franchise opportunities in Jamaica. Don't tell anybody. That's what I'm telling the IRS for about 4 days.
Okay.
And then I'm going from there to Dallas. I've got some speaking to do, and then Dallas to New Orleans. So I'm gone for about 10 days, and I'll be in New Orleans for 5 days. But New Orleans had 6 inches of snow. So it's I don't get it, man. I'm telling you, it's just the world has gone. You see in like Central Florida, people going down driveways on ice.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to go farther south. Maybe I'll go down to Cuba.
I don't know Rick. I don't know what's worse. All these pundits and this media, the media out there blaming Donald Trump for the college football playoff ratings being down by 3 million. That's ridiculous. Come on. I thought we learned something last year.
No, Donald Trump has nothing to do with it. I think we kind of get tired of football. I don't know. Ohio State Notre Dame was a incredible rivalry for those teams. I don't know if it had the Western appeal. I got to tell you, if Scatterbo, if you guys were in the finals, that would have been a hell of a story.
Sure.
I'm not sure if that story would have generated another 4 or 5 million people. I'd have watched a little more lovingly. But that game itself had about 7 minutes of really important, nearly one-score action, but otherwise no. But when you look back at the playoffs, you have 4 teams who were just happy to be there, and they got in from 9 to 12. You got those middle teams that had a home game first round, which was a home game first round for the ages. Blowouts, but a home game first round for the ages. Then you had the top 4 seeds. You know, they didn't make it. So it was rust over rest. So you had 7 and 8 in the finals. Everybody learns now about what to do different and better. It's all tweaked. And just when we get around to tweaking again, we're going to go to 16. We're certainly going to go to 14, maybe 16.
Rick, you're in Miami, and a lot of talk here in Phoenix is about Jimmy Butler. And what is the pulse there? This guy's been suspended again, and, we're us three here making a case for the Suns. Don't get him. Why do you want a guy like we kind of compared him to T.O., that he's just a action to a team?
Tyreek is bright enough to realize he's got 3 or 4 months to make amends, and the difference is it's not during the season, and he did play in pain, so I have some affinity for him. But when people think of Jimmy Butler and he decides to retire, somebody wrote a really good column yesterday about this. Who's going to take credit for him? Not Philly, not Chicago. Things don't end well with him. But I know everybody always thinks, and I'm sure the Matt Ishbia camp thinks, well, if we get him, we're going to be the guys that he really wants to play for. I know nobody else has liked the ending, but we're different. Well, that's what happens with people all over the leagues, and it usually doesn't work out that way. So God bless you. Go take him.
This weekend, they got Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes going at it as the Chiefs and Bills go at it. Seeing these two superstars, one young man could be an MVP. One's been an MVP. As far as the numbers are concerned, we know that'll be a much watched. But for those advertisers, are they just like licking their chops that they've got the AFC Championship game? They got 2 outstanding quarterbacks, not to mention some of the other sides of that. And are the numbers, like the Super Bowl, are those numbers going higher and higher on a per-minute average prior to the season?
Higher and higher per-minute average. Mark Lazarus, good friend, NBC Sports. He was the architect of when Nielsen calls and there's one person in a church rectory and they say, yeah, I'm watching it, you get credit for 1. No, you get credit for 100. And also you ought to get credit for the digital media now too. And now numbers are higher. Well, of course they are, because eyeballs are eyeballs, whether they're looking at phones or they're looking at televisions. So the numbers are more realistic. With AI, we can track the rate of return and advertising conversion better. The ad rates are going to be higher. The 7 million 30-second spot is a number of the past. You're going to see it at 9 or 10 soon. And you're going to realize that even on conventional TV, not pay-per-view, Super Bowl is the definitive appointment viewing. And you got a great story no matter what. You got three-peat, or you got Josh Allen, and then you got Jaden Daniels, or you got Barkley. And, whatever it is, this Super Bowl is fraught with some very significant storylines. And I think it's going to be a heck of a 4-team deal. I don't really know who's going to win.
2 minutes.
And Rick, sure of is my Dolphins are home. They're home. They ain't going anywhere.
What kind of when you see guys up for MVP awards or winning Super Bowls like a Patrick Mahomes, you see him on all kinds of ads. For Josh Allen, if he wins the award, whether he goes to the Super Bowl or not, what kind of numbers are we looking at as far as his marketing numbers in the offseason or continuing through the regular season as far as commercials are concerned?
Well, these guys have long-term deals, and winning an MVP award, honestly, I'm not sure is going to significantly increase the income. It's going to increase the brand value, but not the income. So maybe the next round of negotiations is going to be big. But, Barkley maybe is third in this. Everybody is talking about how Mahomes has the inside track. No, it's Josh Allen has the inside track. No, it's Lamar Jackson. But whoever it is, it's going to be those endorsers
1 minute
reached the ceiling. I'm not sure that these guys have time to do any bigger deals now, even if another category of company comes calling. So it's not a numbers thing right now, but it's the legacy thing, which is harder to quantify, but it's really, really important.
Rick, where are you heading off to next week or two?
Jamaica.
I'm staying here for the championship games, probably because I don't want to get out of my house. I mean, when I'm opening the door, I know it's not like Duluth, Minnesota, but it's pretty stout. But then, I'll be at the Super Bowl. I'm going to watch these two games just
30 seconds.
If you go to one, automatically you miss the other. And I don't want to do that this week because I think they're going to be really, really, really big games, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
How's Duke handling the cold weather?
We got a dolphin scarf on him. Actually, I put a dolphin scarf on him. Then I put a hurricane scarf on him, and I took the hurricane scarf off. But they signed Carson Beck, so I put the hurricane scarf back on.
Oh, there you go, Rick. We love you, man. Stay warm back there in Miami. Appreciate your time.
All right, we will, man. I'll talk to you soon.
That's Rick Horrow. Follow him on Twitter at Rick Horrow, the sports professor here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. All right, to Listener Appreciation Thursday, we are going to give you an opportunity to win some Globetrotter tickets, easy for me to say, there at Desert Diamond in February. But we will have our underdog picks, too. So we're going to get into that. It's Roc, it's Manuch, it's Jimmy B, Jax, and Connor. We're out here at the Twin Peaks in Tempe.
All right, gonna bank Mike's hot here.
Let the dogs out.
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
Most weekend bettors prefer to lay their money down on favorites because they can't get their head around backing an underdog. Not Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. They're all about the dogs. Time now for the Guys Dog Picks of the Week on ESPN 620.
All right, before we get to our picks, it's a listener appreciation Thursday, so we have some tickets we want to hook you up with. We got a couple pairs for the Globetrotters on Friday, February 21st at Desert Diamond Arena in Glendale. Lower level seats. So it's a new year. It's a new global tour, new challenges, but it's the same Globetrotters you love at Desert Diamond Arena in Glendale on February 21st. So with that being said, our big voice guy for ESPN kind of screwed with us a little bit because we're the new guys, and decided to really pound the phone number on our rejoin.
It's great.
So here's the phone number, and he's going to say the sixth caller, but we'll take the fifth and sixth caller.
It's time for another Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B listener appreciation giveaway. Now let's give some tickets away. Be the sixth caller at 602-230-0620 and you win. That's 602-230-0620. That's 602-230-0620. Be the sixth caller at 602-230-0620 and you win. That's 602-230-0620. And thank you for making ESPN 620's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B part of your day.
I got it, Rock.
Five times.
I got it. 602-230-0620.
There you go. That boy,
now you want to say 230.
Yeah.
0620. You want to say the O. You don't want to say 00. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Is that Radio 101?
Yeah. Or 102.
0620.
All right. So you know the number. I don't need to say it again. 602-230-0620. All right.
That's awesome.
So
Way to drive it home.
Wait a minute. What's that number again?
602.
Okay.
230.
Okay.
0620.
I got it now.
All right, good. So when I'm not here, you know the phone
Yep.
number.
We still write it
All
down.
right,
You're not here.
Jax, let's recap our underdog picks from last week.
Yeah, we had a good week as a group, 3-2 collectively. Let's start from the bottom and make our way up. In dead last place, who at one point, I think 8 weeks in, was the leader in our group.
Yeah.
Manuch.
Yeah.
8-10. Had Texans +8 versus the Chiefs. Close. The Chiefs won by 9, but did not cover the 8.
Damn it.
Second to last place at 9-9, Rock. He had the Commanders +9.5 against the Lions. They won outright. In third place at 10-8, Jimmy B also had Washington +9.5 against the Lions. In first place, yours truly, 12-6. I had Notre Dame +8.5 against Ohio State. It was close, but did not cover. And Connor's 2-0. Rams +6.5. I don't know where to put him in the standings because he's 2-0. I feel like you shouldn't get first place because it's only 2 games, but I feel like you shouldn't get last place because he's 2-0.
That's probably why. I guess, pro rata, the whole season.
Hey, he's on the show.
Yeah, he's on there. Jax, you're right there. Rock's climbing. I've had a string of bad luck. Finally won one after 6 weeks. Get back at it. But, if the Texans don't give up like 25 sacks on the Chiefs and just get get a field goal. Just cover. I'm sitting there covering. And then with that Notre Dame game, Jax, tell you what, they need to go down, get one more, at least a field goal. But that third down and 9?
11.
It was a third down 11. Down the right sideline, Smith wide open. What are you doing man coverage with him out there? You're bringing the house. He's wide open. Goes right by that defensive back.
All right. Let's get to our picks this week. Now, ASU is hosting Iowa State noon on Saturday. I got to the end of the internet today. Can't find a spread.
I went looking for it when I saw your pick. I couldn't find it either.
So I don't know what they're waiting for. Connor, you have a spread for us?
Oh, no. I was just letting you know that we did have a winner.
Who is that?
Our winner is going to be Mitch, a friend of the show. He had some complimentary words for you, Manuch, but congratulations to Mitch winning the Globetrotter tickets there.
Holmquist.
Yeah, there you go. Good buddy, Mitch.
Good to hear from you, Mitch.
Yeah, thanks, Mitch.
Congrats.
Appreciate it.
All right, so with that being said, I don't know what the spread is. I don't care what the spread is. I'm going to go on the momentum of upsetting West Virginia and thinking that this really good Cyclone team is on the road, maybe a little bit of a time difference. Probably not
1 hour.
1
Come
hour.
on. You're searching. You're grasping
but
for
the
straws.
the fact that there's something going on here with a spread not being posted yet 2 days.
Well, usually college basketball is the day before.
Yeah, but I've seen spreads where at least they'll forecast it 2 days ahead, and it may change. But everybody I looked at, because I thought, okay, maybe there's a game, but I don't know. I'm going to go with ASU.
I will say this, that Milan Masilovic is one of the Iowa State's best players. He is out. He had hand surgery, so he is not in the lineup. But he did not play in the game in which Iowa State put 108 points on the board against Central Florida either. So they're good.
I'm going to who you go with.
I'm going to go for this. I'm going to go the Commanders +6 versus the Eagles. I think the Eagles win this game, but I think the Commanders, they hang in there. And I think this comes down to a field goal. But I think with the way the Commanders are playing, the confidence, Jaden Daniels, and you look at the way that this team defensively has done, at least I got to say they cover, but the Eagles win this game.
I can't believe that I'm doing this because Manuch, as Jack's referenced, has really sucked pond water the last several weeks.
I won last week.
But I also
you lost last week.
I also,
2 weeks ago.
You don't even
during
know.
the holidays.
I have Washington +6 at Philly as well. I just think it's going to be a very competitive game.
All right.
Just like Rock, I was scrambling looking for spreads because I didn't want to go for the football one. Obviously, the Commanders-Eagles is the only NFL game that we could pick. Looked at college basketball, not a lot
because
of
it has to be 3.
3+, 3.5.
So, 3+.
Yes.
So I'm taking my way to the NBA and one of the best rivalries in the NBA. But I'm going to go with the Lakers +4.5 against the Celtics tonight. LeBron, AD, it being on TNT and at home. Stranger things happen.
Is it in LA?
Yes,
it is
in LA.
So I'm going to go Lakers +4.5. Connor?
Yep. So I followed suit with you. I took my way on down to the NBA. I decided to take the Sacramento Kings plus the 8.5 versus Denver tonight. I know Denver is a defending champ, and they always get a good bode when it comes to the market. But I think Sacramento is matching up well against this team, and they're playing close.
Well, Sacramento played last night against the Golden State Warriors at home, found a way to win that game late in the fourth quarter. So they're going back-to-back, plus the travel, and they're going to play at the Mile High City.
Oh, so you're going. So you would take it the other way.
I think that I would lean Nuggets just because of the game, which was a very emotional game last night between those two teams. There was some rough stuff that took place, and having the flight to Denver and then having to play when you're gasping for air at about the 12-minute mark in the first quarter.
All right, so those are underdog picks. We want to remind you that the WKP Sportsbook is a great place to put picks in. That's over there at the Weekapaw Casino and Resort. It is our home for the big game, our watch and win viewing party. We are excited to announce that our menus, our specials, everything is listed up on rockandmanuch.com. They're doing $4 Dos Equis drafts and bottles and Heinekens for $4. When was the last time you got a Dos Equis for $4?
That's exactly.
A draft or a can, and then bottles of Heineken for $4. So they're going to have that in the entire casino on Sunday, February 9th. And then tons of appetizers and the menu is up on our website, as I just mentioned. Doors will open at 2 o'clock. But the big item that I am a big fan of
3 minutes
is walk-in tacos.
Yeah, you always talk about that.
So I used to do my own walk-in tacos because I went to an Iowa Hawkeye game probably 15 years ago, and they had a stand said walk-in tacos, and no one was doing walk-in tacos. So for $5, you get the bag of Doritos or Fritos. They cut the top of it, and you have a choice of either putting ground beef or chicken, and then you can put lettuce, tomato, salsa, sour cream, or whatever, and you get a spork.
Yeah.
And you're on your way.
Yep.
So it got so popular in the last 3 years that Doritos came out with their own walking tacos that you can buy at the grocery chain.
So I'd never heard of it until you brought that up. When you went to that game, I'd never known. Out here in Arizona, I
had
no idea what that was.
So they're doing it with Tostitos, and it's a they call it a walking bag, and you could do it with Tostitos, Doritos, or Fritos. So it's awesome, man. I mean, it's awesome.
What do you recommend,
2
Rock?
minutes.
What do you recommend?
I'm the beef with the queso and the
Okay.
tomatoes, lettuce.
Oh, that sounds good.
It's just easy. It's great. And then they're doing Nathan's
hot dog.
I know we keep beating this up pretty hard, and I know if you're listening, oh, okay, it's a promotion you guys are doing. But when it comes to a casino that is not going to gouge you on beers and mixed drinks and food for a huge event, it doesn't happen. And they are excited to have us on board. If you've been listening to us, we've been going to the same place for 25 years. We decided to go somewhere else. So with that being said, they are coming up and coming up with these great ideas and promotions. You'll see all the creative up on our website. It's pretty cool.
Can't wait. Excited to get out there.
It's good to see you guys work.
That'll be a first for me.
Big game day. I think we had you out
Just
there
over a
once,
minute
Jimmy.
left.
I think we've invited you back.
No,
Since,
you didn't. The only thing I was good for was putting out doilies on the table. That was all I did.
Yeah, you did well. You did a good job on that. I think so. Manuch is in charge of pulling out the way. Putting out
Winners,
games, and we're giving away a lot of cash, 15 grand,
a lot of
and some,
cash.
so should be a lot of fun. But we're going to talk about the AFC NFC Championship games with Sirius XM NFL radios and Cardwire. From USA Today, Howard Balzer get his thoughts. I also want to see what he thinks about Marvin Harrison Jr. being left out of the all-rookie offensive team. So we'll get his take on that. But next, it's Jax with yet a stellar local ESPN 620 sports update.
year.
And I'm going to play those audio clips after, so just give it a sec.
Co-host of the Pro Football Hall of Fame show on Sirius XM, a Hall of Fame voter, Howard Balzer. Now on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620.
I just think for me, football is just it's fun, and like I said, it's like a safe haven for me. Everything I've been through personally in my life, so I'm not really going out there and stressing about the moment, because at the end of the day, I get to do what I love each and every week. Win, lose, or draw. So it's just a blessing to be one of those kids that are able to fulfill their dream and live out their dream of playing on Sundays in the NFL.
Yeah, I think when you look at the great rivalries of the NFL, it comes with this. It comes with playing at each other every year in the regular season. It comes with playing in the playoffs, and you have to combat. You have to look at your weaknesses and try to make those strengths, and then your strengths make them even better, because
I'm going to go ahead and make Mike's hot
things. And so it's a great football team. Like I said, great players, well coached, and we know it's going to take our best in order to find a way to get a win.
That's Jaden Daniels and Patrick Mahomes. Thanks to the Washington Commanders and the Kansas City Chiefs as we get ready for Championship Sunday. And Howard Balzer now on the line. And Howard, these two games, I think a lot of people were surprised that Washington is there, but I'm going to kind of put you on the spot. Do you recall a team that kind of snuck in like the Washington Commanders and could have an opportunity to get to the Super Bowl? The one I first throw at you, maybe you can think about, is when the Giants played in the Super Bowl here against the New England Patriots. The Giants were one of those teams that kind of snuck in and were able to kind of use that momentum and got to the Super Bowl. But is there a team that you can maybe compare the Washington Commanders to?
It's hard to compare, mainly because they're doing it with a first-year quarterback.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
And I almost hate to call Jaden Daniels a rookie now, because he's played 17 regular season games and 2 playoff games. So essentially, he's completed his rookie season, except for however many playoff games they have left. So that's what makes this one kind of stand out. I mean, there's been times in the past where you have wild card teams that get in there and they get hot. Heck, here in Arizona, I mean, I don't think the Cardinals weren't a wild card team the one season where they won the division, but I think they won the division with a 9-7 record.
Yep.
And were brutal on the road that season and just played horrible games, and yet they caught fire in the postseason. So we see it happen from time to time. Usually the best teams win when they get to this time, when they get this time of the year. But the other thing is, Washington did win 12 games. I mean, it's not like they snuck into the postseason as a wild card with only 9 or 10 wins or something like that. They won 12, and so that showed what really good season they had. And I think now everyone's talking about being surprised because they were able to beat the Lions. But we could also see how that Lions team became decimated by defensive injuries. I wrote a story on the Cards Wire last week where I noted that, or maybe it was this week after the game, where I noted that when the Lions played the Cardinals in week 3, and 6 starters that the Lions had on defense in that game are now on injured reserve. And, they gave up 31 points to Green Bay. They gave up 48 to Buffalo, 34 to San Francisco in the last few weeks of the regular season. So you could see that defense had the possibility of bringing them down in the postseason. And that was surely the case last week. And, Washington was able to capitalize on it. So they're a hell of a story, and especially with Cliff Kingsbury at offensive coordinator, the guy who, of course, at the end of the seasons can never coach well because everybody catches on to his college offense, right?
The only other thing I could think of was Brock Purdy's first year. Where they,
of course.
Hold on. Brock Purdy, rookie, took him to the NFC Championship game against the Eagles. And that's when he had the arm hurt, something to that. But they didn't really sneak in per se with their defense. They pretty much came in, guns a-blazing. And other like rookie quarterbacks, C.J. Stroud last year, close. But you think of Ben Roethlisberger, his rookie year. They ran into this team called the New England Patriots in the AFC Championship game. That was one of those where, as that rookie quarterback, so it's not quite such an anomaly that a rookie quarterback leads the charge, but he's surrounded by defense, surrounded by players around him to help that story out.
That's always the key, like you said, is the players around that quarterback. And it's why the thing that most drives me nuts about all the narratives and all the little cliches that get repeated over and over is when someone will say about a quarterback, well, he won a Super Bowl, or he won the game, or he lost, as if they were out there by themselves.
Right.
And obviously we know that that's not the case. And there's not too many quarterbacks, especially at the NFL level, that if they don't have that supporting cast around them, and that doesn't stop at the running game and the receivers and all that. It's also the offensive line. I mean, that's huge in terms of how well a team does, and you better have all that going for you. I mean, it was only a few years ago that after the Rams won the Super Bowl, that the next year, with a totally decimated offensive line for a variety of reasons, not only with the offseason retirement of Andrew Whitworth, but other guys getting hurt during the season, they ended up the year after Super Bowl winning 5 games. And that was with, of course, the boy wonder, the great offensive coordinator, play caller of all time that everyone talks about, is Sean McVay. Well, they weren't able to get it done on offense when they didn't have that offensive line that allows you to do the things with your game plan that you want to do, because you don't have the protection or you don't have the support in the run game. So you have to have all that. This is it's often said, this is the ultimate team sport. And on any given Sunday, it takes all 48, however many are dressed, to help win that game, because all it takes is one bad play by somebody to help, that helps you lose. And so that's why, Bill Belichick, I don't know if he coined the phrase, and it's a simple one, do your job. Mm-hmm. And that goes for every player that's out there on the field at any given time, all 11. And you can have the greatest play call in the world on offense, but if somebody misses a block, or someone misses an assignment, or someone doesn't run the right route, that play's not going to work. And that's the essence of football.
Howard Balzer's our guest on the Right Toyota guest line. Howard, in your estimation, when did the Kansas City Chiefs become the most hated team in the NFL? When did that happen?
I don't get that, Howard. I really don't. I don't understand that. Where that narrative comes from.
How hated were the Patriots during the time?
Still.
And it shouldn't be. How hated were the Yankees in baseball when they won every year? Because so it happened with the Chiefs when they just started winning every year. Yeah. And people say, enough of the Chiefs. We want somebody different. It's time for somebody else to win. But they just keep winning, and they just keep showing how the greatness that they have, even in a season like this one. And even last year, to a degree, wasn't as offensively explosive as previous teams had been. And then this year was even a little bit less than last year. But they play great defense, and they have Mahomes and Andy Reid and all that. And like I said, I mean, this is we all talk about the Patriots, obviously. This is 7 consecutive AFC championship games that this team has been in.
Yeah.
About a little over a minute.
I think that's where it is. And, to me, people should have enduring respect. And I think deep down they do. They have enduring respect for how great they are. But it comes, and I don't even know if it's hated. But then, they'll get a call or two that everyone perceives as a bad call. And then that brings the conspiracy people, the QAnon people out of the woodwork. Say, it's rigged. They want, the NFL want. Well, you know what? Does anybody really think that the NFL wants the same team to keep winning year after year? If anything, they'd probably like to see some other team in there. But it's just pretty crazy. But that fuels, that whole narrative. And people are saying, just like this week, they're saying, boy, it would be nice for Josh Allen, to finally win one and get into the Super Bowl. And I think that's what drives that narrative more than anything, I think.
All right, you got about a minute here. What are the 4 commonalities?
In a minute?
Well, he can do it. Yeah, I trust him.
Jeez, Manuch, he's a writer.
What are a couple of commonalities you see in these 4 teams that the Cardinals should look for if they're to go to the next level and get to the playoffs? What do you see? Give me a couple, 2 or 3 that all 4 of these teams have that the Cardinals need to acquire to move on.
No, it's a great question. And I think what they need, well, first of all, every quarterback, except for Jalen Hurts, is a first rounder.
Yep.
But they get the consistent quarterback play, and quarterbacks, for the most part, making the plays when they have to. And the question now is, do the Cardinals have that guy in Kyler Murray? And for this team to get to that next level, they have to have that consistency at quarterback, but also the consistency with the rest of the team. And that's, we see, Kansas City with Travis Kelce. I mean, I think no one talks a lot about the supporting cast that Jaden Daniels had, with Robinson at running back and McLaurin at wide receiver. That's pretty good talent they have around them. So mostly it comes down to winning the close games, obviously, which Kansas City has done this year better than anybody. I think they're 11-0 in one-score games. And so it's having those guys with the experience, whether it's overall experience years in the NFL or playoff experience, to make those key plays at key times. And, we can look back at this Cardinal season. I think Jonathan Gannon said it best right after the year. He said, hey, yeah, everybody can point to a play here, a play there, and we win maybe 10 or 11 games. Well, you can also talk about a play here, a play there in the games they won, that if they had lost them, they might have only won 4 or 5. And so, but that's the NFL. And the good teams are the ones that are consistent, have that belief, the confidence, and are
feel free to wrap whenever
games more than they lose them. And that's what most of these teams have, and that the Cardinals have to get better at.
Howard, appreciate you, man. Thanks for the time today.
All right, guys. Talk to you next week.
Follow him on Twitter at RX HBalzer721, and he's on Sirius XM NFL Radio's network as well, so you can check that out at Sirius XM. So appreciate Howard for joining us. Coming up, we will get into our one call that's all, which has to do with Manuch today, as Mitch Holthus, who is the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, joined us earlier in the program and did some play-by-play of Manuch back in his days at Kansas State. I was hoping we'd come back with the comments he made about hooking up with all the girls there in Manhattan.
I wish.
That's not going to happen.
At the Tiki Hut.
We'll have that next here on ESPN.
Hibachi Hut.
Lodge mentality. The guys are live at Twin Peaks Tempe, located in the Tempe Marketplace. Twin Peaks, the ultimate sports lodge and home of the 29-degree beer, served in perfectly frosted 22-ounce mugs. Here's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620. It's the Lerner and Rowe one call, that's all call of the day. If you're looking for a full-service law firm, just make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. Lerner and Rowe, voted Arizona's best law firm.
Let me just give you the play-by-play call. October 1978, Lincoln, Nebraska. 3rd and 18 at his own 13. Much like Patrick Mahomes later, like 40 years later. Back to throw, it's Manucci. A deep
making Mike's hot.
Goodlow for 87 yards and a touchdown. I think that ball went 70 yards in the air. And K-State scores an 87-yard TD on Nebraska.
Thing I don't understand, Manuch, it was 3rd and 18. What did you do the down before to get you in that such a bad situation?
I got sacked. Yeah, I got sacked 5 times in the first half against Nebraska. So found Eugene Goodlow on about we call it a 12 to 15-yard post. Put it right on him. He scampered 87 yards later.
So it didn't go 70 yards in the air.
So it was a dink.
Yeah. No.
It was a dink. That's what I see Purdy do. So it's a dink. That's what you train your guys.
Yeah, the 20-yard, it was probably a 20-yard pass. Now, I might have embellished the 70 yards because it was an 87-yard touchdown. So in his mind, he embellished that.
He was helping you out.
And then the Jimmy Miller touchdown pass later in the game was about a 10-yard touchdown pass in the end zone.
All right, here's what's on tap tonight on ESPN Plus. Southern Utah at Grand Canyon, or I should say Grand Canyon is hosting, or is at Southern Utah, 6:30 on ESPN Plus. Moving ahead to Saturday, Iowa State and Arizona State. That'll be on the mothership here, Arizona Sports 98.7 TV, ESPN Plus. Colorado at Arizona, that's on ESPN Plus at 1 o'clock. Wizards and Suns also on Arizona Sports and Easy Family. And then Grand Canyon, Utah State on ESPN Plus. So you got to have ESPN Plus this week, it looks like, to watch any college basketball.
I have that, so I'm okay.
Did we ask you?
No, you looked at me, and I thought I'd offer up something. So
good. Then
there you go.
Then you could do a report on Monday.
Okay.
On every one of those games
that was on ESPN Plus.
Okay. I have it too. But
okay. See,
I don't know if anybody cares.
I'm surprised Jimmy even found ESPN Plus that he's had that. All right, guys, let's stay for your future call. Question of the day: with all the issues that Jimmy Butler is displaying with the Heat, would you still make a trade for him to the Suns? Yes or no? Just go to Roc and Manuch on Twitter. Jimmy, what are the results showing?
I have the statistics right now. It is no at 58%.
I thought it'd be higher.
Yes, 41%. 58%.
No. And 41%?
41%.
So where's that other 1%?
Well, it's 41.7 and 58.3.
So you don't have the stats.
I have them right here. I am right here. I always round them off.
Spoken. They're like, hey, look, you know what? Just let well enough alone, even though the guy's a hell of a player, hell of a defensive player.
He used to be a hell of a player.
Yeah, well, he still is, Jimmy.
I'm not buying that, Manuch. His numbers have dropped a lot this season.
At this point,
for Matt, the same numbers as Beal does.
Yeah,
I mean, but he's a better defensive player than Beal
he wants
is
to play.
But that's the whole thing. Is the risk? Is the reward? Does it outweigh the risk of bringing him in? And on top of that, now that it's being reported that Bradley Beal does not want to go to the Bucks,
and the Bucks don't want him.
The Bucks don't want him. So if you're kind of getting caught up with the Suns, you got the draft choices. You can give those away. Maybe there's a couple more players. How much more is going to sweeten the pot for Miami? Or does Pat Riley, the president, say, you know what, Jimmy? Let's just have you sit the rest of the season because we're not going to trade you. They're not going to pay you next year. He's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place.
He is.
Wouldn't it be nice to be a fly on the wall and just watch the Suns headquarters and find out which teams are actually taking their call?
Yeah.
Hey, this is XYZ and calling
6 minutes.
the Cleveland Cavaliers. So-and-so's on the line. You can't get through the gatekeeper.
He has done himself so bad with what he has accomplished with the 2 suspensions here that teams who might have been interested, might have had an interest, are not interested anymore.
But they're not getting him.
No. If they had an interest in him, I'm saying.
So you think maybe there is a team out there that would want a Jimmy Butler?
Yes.
It's not just Phoenix.
That is correct.
He's done himself a disservice.
Yes, exactly.
He has. I mean, he's been unprofessional in this whole thing. But doesn't he realize, look, Jimmy, if you want out of Miami, cooperate, play, be a good citizen, show other teams that you could be a good citizen. Maybe they make the move.
And that you could help them get better.
The problem is he's such a prima donna.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't stay with the team hotel. He wants his own transportation. He wants this. He wants that. Screw him.
Yeah.
Why does Matt Ishbia want to put all his cards and mortgage the future
may not
for
now.
this guy?
No, I think it's going to change.
I think the fan base was all excited at first, but
Yeah.
now we're seeing what he's doing.
Yes.
And everybody's like, screw this guy.
Yeah.
You know, let's figure out if this is the Suns team. Coach Bud, you're one of the best coaches in the NBA. Make it work. Fix it.
I'm with you 100% on that. And look, if now that you have those 3 number ones available to put into some sort of package, you might go shopping now for somebody else. Somebody else has got to be on your radar.
There's somebody else out there.
Yeah.
I mean, do they need the point guard?
I thought Tyus Jones was the guy.
Well, they got 2 of them, really.
Yeah, and Monte Morris.
You got 2 of them. You need a point
Okay,
guard.
but maybe is there somebody else out
No,
there?
Rock,
Do
they
want a veteran point guard?
No, they need a guy who can score, rebound, and defend, and he's got to be a frontline player because their rebounding sucks. We even saw that where they had a decisive height advantage against the Brooklyn Nets, and they still struggled in that
and to
department.
your point about the scoring, the Suns have gone from 6th to 25th in 3-point shooting in the NBA.
That is absolutely
you go
correct.
Go find another shooter. I mean, because they need another shooter.
Well, I don't know. Grayson he's one of the best in
Yeah,
the
but he's
NBA.
been up and down. I mean, you got 3 guys.
These guys are streaky, man.
You got to
stay
give him
with
more minutes. He's got to get more minutes.
So
I know he's
KD
banged up. He plays
Yeah,
half
I
the
know.
games,
So KD and Book aren't 3-point shooters per se.
Not necessarily.
But they love to put them up.
But what they've been doing, well, if they were, they wouldn't be on from 6th to 25th.
There's a guy in Washington you could probably get for a sandwich, Corey Kispert.
Oh, yeah.
Played at Gonzaga. He lights it up from the 3-point line.
Hey, grand opening alert. Join us next Wednesday. We will be at the taco spot from 1 to 4. And that's at Baseline and 16th Street. That's their 15th store. Lerner Rowe is going to be out there. Coco 5 is going to be out there. All kinds of giveaways. We will be out there
3
from
minutes.
1 to 4. Basically, from 4 to 5, it's free food.
Wow.
Free food.
Hey, we're
Courtesy
off
of
the air
Lerner
then.
Rowe.
Yeah, I like it.
And then they're doing free tacos. They got this ramen that's all out of this world. Free drinks with purchase. I mean, so join us next week. We'd love to see you at the taco spot in Phoenix at Baseline and 16th
Street. That's the neighborhood out there. Tomorrow I'll be at Right Toyota. Get a
What do
little.
you mean it's a neighborhood? Of course it's a neighborhood.
Well,
what else would it be?
My neighborhood. I'm down.
Wait. This is near you're down there?
I'm about 2 miles, 3 miles just east of there.
So a little pre-party at Manuch?
Yeah,
I like
absolutely.
that. After hours at Manuch?
Yeah, there you go. Come on over. Get the fireplaces lit up.
You know he knows all the women from K-State.
No, I don't want to get him in trouble.
No, don't do that, Jimmy.
No, not get him in
Jimmy,
trouble.
you take care of your own house, okay?
Yeah, that was back in the day. That was in the 70s.
Years ago. Didn't have any money to date anybody. You kidding me? Hey, tomorrow, Right Toyota, Sean Salisbury join us. A little treat for Rock. We got Merrill Reese, the voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Kevin Rose, Scott Sprites, and then we'll go to the other side, the Commander side, former Super Bowl champ, Redskin Super Bowl champ, Mark May. All that mañana on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. We give Jimmy the day off out there at Right Toyota. So we'll have break down these Commanders. Can they hang with those Eagles? I think so. I think they will.
Minute and a half.
But I just think that the Eagles just got too much defense, too much running game. This is a
Running
guy
game.
named Saquon Barkley that can take it to the house
on any play.
At any particular time.
Phoenix Open, the field continues to grow. The 90th playing of the People's Open. They just announced today that Ricky Fowler will be coming. He's 6-time tour winner Max Homa and the world number 22 Sam Burns will team it up.
1 minute.
For the Waste Management Phoenix Open, the WM Open, that is. We'll be giving away some tickets next week, so you want to tune in for that. As we appreciate you making us part of your day here on ESPN 620 and 98.7 HD2. Tomorrow, Wright Toyota. Who do you got on the show? Let me guess. Mark May.
You just heard it.
Scott Spreitzer.
Yep, you just heard it.
Kevin Rowe.
Yep.
I didn't. I wasn't listening.
Yep.
Who's the other one?
Anybody
new?
Your buddy. Merrill Reese is joining us.
Oh, the voice of the Eagles.
Yeah. Rock, where you been? Let's go.
I've been right here. I just, 20 years of doing this with you. It goes in one ear, out the other.
I don't blame you for tuning out.
All right. Hey, you take off tomorrow, right?
Oh, hey. Thanks, guys. That's
Good luck.
awfully nice.
It's probably
of
too
you.
cold for you to go off.
I won't tee off at least till about 2 o'clock.
All right.
Then I
Thanks
will.
to Twin Peaks for having us here in Tempe. We'll be back out at the Deer Valley one next week.